Hello, folks. Welcome to Nateland. First off, I want to thank you to Viore for sponsoring this episode of Nateland. Get yourself some of the most comfortable and versatile clothing on the planet at viore.com/Nate. Not only will you receive 20% off your first purchase, but enjoy free shipping on any U.S. orders over $75. All right, welcome. So we've had a little bit behind because, as you know, I think a lot of places got snow.
Yeah,
We did. We got a ton. Most snow I've seen in Nashville. I think that I ever remember
It's been a while
this long.
for sure. Yeah.
It was like, I mean, a guy skied. There's a hill
Yeah.
by us, and a guy had his skis out. It was like Colorado. It was like snow like that.
There's a dude snowboarding in my neighborhood.
Yeah.
On the back of a truck, being pulled around.
Yeah.
Oh, we got the ice first round, and then we got snow on top of it.
Yeah.
So
it was like perfect. We went sledding. I posted a video about me sledding, and everybody got mad at me with because I had my hands down. But I would like everybody to know that hill was nuts. I want to go see what it was actually now the snow's gone, because I think it's something we shouldn't have been on, and you just don't know, you know? Like it was so fast, and I remember going down it, and I had my feet at first, and I was like, well, that's not going to stop, and so then I just had my hands, you kind of steering, you know, but it was straight down, super bumpy.
Yeah.
It was, and then it goes back up a hill, and I was like, I don't want to shoot off
Clark Griswold.
Yeah, just be gone. I mean, there was one part of it I went down and I went back up to the top, and it was like, it was a lot. You would see some rocks sticking up, and you're like, just don't go. You're telling the kids, just don't go over by those rocks. You're like, I just don't know if there's a giant rock that we're like, I'm very curious to go see, because it could be a big problem.
Yeah.
Also, since we did this, my special is announced March 18th. The Greatest Average American, which you guys knew first here. March 18th, Netflix, Greatest Average American. I'm excited about it. We'll see what happens. We're about to do just a ton of stuff for it. It gets so hectic. You just want just to be like, it's out.
Yeah.
The amount of interviews you got to go do. I mean, it's fun. You have to do them, but it's a lot. So this is all I have to do here, March 18th.
Right.
Netflix.
It's exciting, man.
Thanks.
Congrats.
Yeah.
It'll be fun. Starting to figure out some new stuff. I got some club dates too. So I'm going to Phoenix, Stand Up Live, March 4 to 7. And then a bunch of other stuff. I'm going to post something about that, and I'll just let y'all know. But we're doing some club dates to kind of get back it's all half capacity, whatever the rules are. And but to get back in the groove of it before I start back on the theater tour, which I got to think of a name for that. So we'll see what happens, whatever that's going to be. There's a lot going on.
Yeah, we had a couple people ask, we got tickets for Nate in the fall. Should we wait watching the Netflix special?
I hope not. I mean, I that's why I'm going out now. So I'll go out, March 4 to 7 is the beginning of the clubs. And I got a bunch of clubs. We've been doing Zanies. I think I have about 20 minutes new. I think it's okay. It's fine. Still figuring some of it out. So I would hope I think you could watch it. I think, look, when that is always something people ask, and a lot of people do wait. I mean, if you were close enough, if you wanted to wait, you could. Like, I would have people, if it comes out that weekend, but I think overall, usually what you try to do is I will do at the beginning all the new stuff. So I'm hoping by the time the fall comes around, I'm hoping then I'll be 50 minutes at least.
Yeah.
And then maybe I close with some old jokes, but overall should be new. So I think watch it. Put the pressure on me. Watch it. And then I just watch you leave during the show, and you go, he's at it, all right. So this week we're gonna play the episode. It's a pre-recorded episode that we did with Adam Ray about Washington State. But Adam also tells a bunch of fun stories. he was at Universal Studio and worked there, and it was very funny. Just him. He was Wolverine, and just super funny. He's also on the new show, the
Young Rock.
The Young Rock
Yep.
on NBC. He plays Vince McMahon. And these comments, the comments are new, so you're gonna see our outfits will change. But we wanted to get some new comments because we wanted at least to be able to talk to y'all, because I feel like we've had to pre-record a few of them, and so we want to be able to, talk in a regular time. And we've missed some of these comments. So first up, Christopher Malloy. Christopher Malloy. Malloy. We're back. We're back, baby. Malloy. I don't know why I thought Mal. I think I thought it was heading the Mal direction.
Yeah.
And then it took a turn. Best episode yet. This is the New York episode. Best episode yet. Nate has so much history and comedy with some of the best comedians of our era. I like the rapport with Aaron and Beagle, and they should be a majority of the episodes, but please have more New York comics on. It's a nice treat. Thank you. I agree that you guys should be majority. I would love for you not being everyone, but
some of the comments were there just like, man, it's good to see Nate finally talking to some comedians.
Yeah. Some real comics.
Yes, real comics.
How do you think I feel? I mean, it was nice. We will have New York comics as they come into Zanies and stuff like that. A lot of guys that I started with.
Did you have a different speed when you were in New York?
Yeah,
so fast, but then you kind of adapted to it. Do you feel like?
Oh yeah, when you go back to New York. That was the biggest thing. So when you're doing shows in New York, it's very fast because you're in front of an audience. People don't you go to in front of an audience that always sometimes go to these shows that they don't expect it to be a comedy show.
Yeah.
Or they don't know what they expect. They don't know you, or it's just different. So you got to just crush them, and everybody's killing. Everyone on the show is got TV credits. These are all, it's basically a show full of headliners. And so you got to kind of bring it. And you can always feel it when you would leave and then when you go back to New York. So once I moved and then would go back, and you're like, oh, I would bomb the first, not bomb, but it would be not great because you got to kind of get back into that New York rhythm of I got to hit them pretty quick. And you get everything kind of tight. New York's really good about teaching how to get stuff tight, really making a Tonight Show set, a quick set. It makes it be super tight. And that's why I think New York comics are the best, is because they know how to do that. So, yeah, you do. And, Giannis is also from New York, so he's just super, they talk a lot. Kayla McNair. Giannis describing his grandfather paying off the mafia to keep things nice in the neighborhood. Sounds a lot like my HOA fees. It's the new HOA fee.
Yeah.
We have our HOA fees because everybody pays HOA. I think you pay HOA. I guess if you're in a neighborhood.
Yeah.
And you will one day when you get.
I won't
grow up and get adult,
but you will.
Well, you don't live in a neighborhood. You're in a neighborhood, but it's not like you don't enter a thing. It's welcome to this neighborhood.
No, anybody can enter my neighborhood.
It's on a main road. It's on the highway. You see those houses that are always on the high, I'm driving 80. My kids are playing in the front yard. You're like, oh, sorry. Our HOA, our roads were super snowy, and so they didn't get someone didn't clear them at all. And my neighbor ordered pizza, and the pizza guy went to the door and said, "These are the worst roads I've seen." Wow. And it was, in BR you pay these HOA fees, and you're like, where are they going?
Mm-hmm.
What are we paying? It's they cut the grass in front of the entrance, and you're like, there's a lot of houses in this neighborhood. There's not a little reserve that you go, well, this is for, we pay the
salt the roads or something.
Something.
Yeah.
They did nothing. It's going to melt. They handled it as how you would handle it in the wild. If you just live and you just go, well, the sun will get it eventually. Summer's coming. So they'll solve it. Cameron Mork. Yeah, that's fine. Mork. I was going to be very upset if Old Long Days didn't make the editors work at least a little. Getting guests that aren't clean and trying to be clean is a funny concept, and you should run with it. Well, that would be all the New York guys. So don't worry about that. There'll be plenty more of that where if they can do it. I think every one of them that will come in will have trouble. I think Adam did good.
Mm-hmm.
He's an LA guy, though. They're weaker. And there's, I don't know. But yeah, we'll have some more New York guys come in. Steve Byrne lives here. We just saw him today, actually. And he's a New York guy. And so he'll be, I mean, he can't keep it clean in front of his kids. So let's see what happens here. All right. These are the Wall Street comments. All right. 3 T's, 3 L's, and 3 D's. And then three number threes.
It's crazy.
Tittle to 3 through 3. He probably just made this to comment. Or
this was a podcast review, Apple podcast review.
Okay.
This is in the yikes. That Wall Street episode was like stretching Kramer and Jerry's clueless conversation about write-offs into 2 whole hours. Well, who's writing them off? You should have let financial advisors bid to sponsor that episode with an ad at the end asking listeners if they had heard enough to now appreciate the services of a knowledgeable adult. That's pretty bad. It's not good.
Yeah.
He gave us 5 stars.
that's
5
nice.
stars? That's
Yeah.
nice. My future
Overall.
father-in-law heard the episode and sent me a book.
Yeah.
Yeah, he texted me. He was like, just listened. Why don't you give this a read? It's
Yeah.
just about like money.
Yeah.
I
like
haven't,
how you-
I haven't read it yet, but
Yeah.
I will.
Well, I mean, he's putting his daughter's life in your hands.
There's a lot of people who are like, you guys were out of your league on this one.
Yeah. Well, I think a lot of people are out of the league, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're normal people
Right.
that don't know it,
Yeah.
as everybody that doesn't know it.
Mhm.
So that's why, yeah, that's a tough one. You should, if these people are so smart, they should listen to go, here's the regular people, you know?
Mhm.
Yeah.
And so this is what, because guess what? We won. Regular people won that, right? Or not anymore.
I didn't. But
You didn't. We bought too late.
You never lose. You don't lose until you sell.
Yeah.
That's my philosophy.
Miss 100%
You-
of the shots you don't take.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. It's the same.
Michael Scott, Wayne Gretzky. You haven't sold yet?
No.
Diamond Hands?
No, so I haven't lost.
You haven't
all right.
lost.
Haven't lost any
What's
money.
it down?
It's down a lot.
It's like you're just
GameStop's at like 45 right now. I bought it at 320.
yeah. Yeah. Just waiting for it to go back up.
Your father-in-law sent you a book, huh?
And so you're just holding on to it.
Just hold on for dear life, dude.
And
Diamond
does it what
hands.
does it happen? Does it eventually just go away?
No, I mean, it'll get down to
Zero.
wherever it gets down to. It doesn't get down to 0 unless the company.
What if the
goes
company
away.
goes, will you
It does
hold?
happen sometimes.
Yeah.
And then you're just so you paid $325 just to stick it to the man.
Good job, Aaron.
Which I'm fine with. I think it's fine.
You know, the main dude who just testified in front of Congress, he doubled down. He bought a ton more.
Oh,
He's
really?
Still in it, man.
Yeah.
If he's staying in, I stay in.
Yeah. I like it. 325. I mean, it's $325. It's gone.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, now it's 50.
Now it's $50.
Yeah.
And how many did you buy? It's more than $325.
No, I bought not a lot.
Okay.
Okay. You bought it at $325.
Right, it was 325
Each share.
Yeah,
Each share.
every share.
So you bought one share?
I bought one share of that. I bought a lot of AMC stock, which
Yeah.
is down a bunch too.
Yeah.
They're all down.
They're all, yeah. Well, you had a good run. I think you really,
I didn't know.
huh?
I did know.
Well, you stuck it to them. But you're sitting here happy, having fun.
That's right. That's a good way of looking
Yeah.
at it.
Yeah.
Thanks,
and
man.
they lost money.
Right.
Udaya Tinity. Udaya. I've worked on Wall Street since 2014, and Nate's asking all the same questions I've been asking. I mean, see?
There you go.
People just don't want to ask these questions.
Yep.
Everybody's so smart, but no one wants to just be like, why does it exist? I don't know. Now I'm probably lost them. They're like, well, I didn't ask that. Connor Anthony. A company only receives money from the initial sale of the stock. To put it in context of comedy, if you sell 1,000 tickets at $100 a piece, you earn $100,000. That is the equivalent of your IPO. If those, I'm already lost. All right. If those ticket holders then go selling your tickets on secondary markets like Craigslist or eBay and the ticket price continues to rise, you will not see any of that money because it is just private people trading amongst themselves. So the short answer is no. When people are buying and selling a company's stock in the market, the company does not get any part of the money because they already got paid their lump sum from their initial issuance of the stock. Is that it? Is that a word? Issuance?
Yep.
Yeah.
Issuance.
So you asked originally, like,
Yeah.
do they keep getting money when
Yeah.
they sell? And basically, no. They
No.
get it the first time when they sell them.
Yeah, it's a game outside of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's just like
Yeah,
scalpers.
GameStop
Yeah.
got none of that money that I
Yeah. GameStop is along for the ride. Issuance. What does that mean? Their initial issuance.
Nice way of saying issuing.
Oh,
Yeah,
stock.
when they issued.
oh, it's a prettier version. It's y'all. Did y'all use that a lot in your family?
Issuance?
Yeah.
Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Thanksgiving.
Yeah. You were very quick with the issuance of this dinner. Mom,
Oh,
you know?
yeah.
Something like that.
Oh, that's nice. Well, thank you, Aaron. And then your buddy that's like, can you pass me the peas? You do that and also say penguin. What are the odds of that? Guy that says penguin and knows what issuance means.
I'm one of a kind, dude.
You
You're
still
one
feel
of
like
a
that's
kind.
the right way to say it, though, right? Because I feel like we're hearing two different things.
I actually feel more than ever. I feel for sure
Yeah,
that's what it's supposed
reaffirmed.
Penguin.
Reaffirm.
Now I don't have to put so much oomph in the first syllable of it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But it is penguin. That's
Well, it
how
depends on how big the crowd is.
what?
You have to put, if you got a large crowd, you're about to do a penguin show. You got to be like, welcome to the penguin show. Like you're going to add a little more to it. I think that's the only reason
That's true.
I think if you were just at the zoo and you're like, oh, let's go check out the penguins, I would be like, oh, God. I was like, how about we not? I don't even know. I would go to it being like, I would think we're looking at penguins, but I don't know.
Yeah.
That's how I would enter. I would follow them going, where are you guys going?
I think maybe he said penguins. I don't know.
I kind of know where we're going. Whitney Burdett, another missed opportunity to mention Ryan Hamilton's bid on canceling a gym membership. But truly love the podcast. My favorite episodes all have the sweet spot combo where Nate goes on an unprovoked straight rant. Aaron starts laughing so hard he can't breathe. And Boat Ramp has some hilarious one-liners that get ignored. So more of that, please. Great job. I like Boat Ramp.
Boat Ramp's great.
Boat Ramp's a good one.
Yeah, Ryan Hamilton has a very funny joke about canceling his gym membership. I'm sending him a letter.
Yeah. He does. Ryan Hamilton's very funny. He's got a Netflix special. Anyway, James Hodgins. Aaron, please do not cancel your gym membership. I will pay for it if you start using it. Also, have you seen a doctor yet for your gout? I only listen to the podcast because I'm concerned about your health. Aaron.
So this is James Hodges. This is one of my college roommates.
Oh,
Really?
He's from New York City.
He's from New York.
And yeah, he's from New York.
What's he doing now? Wall Street?
Yeah, he works at maybe not
Really?
Wall Street. He works at E&Y, I think. Ernst and Young.
Oh, wow.
Maybe I shouldn't say that.
Yeah,
but
I don't even know what that meant.
is that an accounting firm?
I think it's one of the big four.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
wow. Instant Yearn. Is that it? What is it called? Instant?
It's at Yarn?
Ernst and Young.
Ernst and Young.
E&Y.
E&Y.
I think he still works there. I don't know. He's a groomsman at my
Wow.
wedding. Coming up.
Oh, wow. Maybe we should find out what he does. Is he going to have to put your arm on his shoulder as you try to walk down the aisle with your gout? You think with your gout, when we all go in to the wedding, you'll already be up there?
I'll just have,
Like you're there, you're gonna have to there. When did Aaron get up there? He's been
here for
wow, because you don't want to let everybody know that you're weak because of your gout. So you will just get there
Yeah.
super early.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I'll be like FDR, he wouldn't let people take pictures of him
Yeah.
in the wheelchair.
Mhm.
That'll be all the wedding pictures will just be me.
Yeah. No shoe
Waist
picture.
up. Yeah. Waist up. You
Yeah.
never know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
It
show
is.
up and I'm already standing up.
You're already up there with
Well, he's
that
ready to go.
bubble wrap around one foot. And you go, wow, man, he's excited about this. You have to sit down.
Hmm.
I don't know. I don't have anything else. But yeah, he's gonna pay for it. He's doing good, dude. He's at Ernst and Young.
Yeah, let him do
You
it.
know, let him pay for it, dude. He's
Yeah.
like, it doesn't even matter.
I haven't canceled it yet, so maybe.
Yeah, we had someone write the letter.
Somebody wrote a beautifully written letter for me.
Just
and
send
I
that
posted
letter
it.
in.
Yeah, I forgot about it till now.
Yeah.
I'll print it out and send it.
Yeah, you should just send that letter
Mhm.
that someone else wrote and
Yeah.
see what happens.
I'll do that.
Yeah. Did we read that? We'll read the letter. Once you send it, we won't read it till you send it. You got to send it.
Okay.
All right. So the alien comments. Misguided son. That's the guy's name. Misguided son. It's a family name. The bit about having an alien child in space was probably the hardest I've laughed in more than 5 years. Blowfish somehow seemed to keep it together, but I'm glad Aaron was there to wheeze through it with me. Thank you all for being such a bright light in these dark times. Blowfish, for a minute I kind of forgot, and I was like, "What does that mean?" Like there was a second of just in my head going, "Blowfish." They kept it together. Justin Flory, Nate went on Aaron for gasping at one of the biggest technological advancements of the 2000s, but got blown away by an umbrella that solves a minor inconvenience. That's true. I'm just I was blown away by it. I didn't gasp alone when I saw it. When I watched the program, I didn't. I wasn't. What's a gasp like?
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't do that.
Yeah.
So I was. I'm still blown away by it. It's not. It's a
What
little.
was it?
The umbrella that opens out.
Oh,
It's a great idea. I remember it.
it's amazing.
I remember it. That's what I was.
Yeah.
Maybe that explains why where we're at is where we're at. You were watching the iPhone thing, and I watched the guy that did the umbrella. We were watching two different things.
They're going on at the same time.
Yeah, they were the same thing. You went to one channel, I went to the other. Mine was on Fox. I think it was on Fox. Yeah. The gasp is the only thing. I'm not saying you're not excited about the iPhone. I think it's exciting.
I get it.
Gasping alone.
I was watching with my sister.
Okay. Doesn't make it better. Richard Gatling. Richard Gatling. The only person qualified to interview aliens is an adjunct professor. My brother-in-law, by the way, was an adjunct professor. I found that out. Never really asked him about it, but I will ask him now what his thoughts are. Yeah, they would, but they couldn't do it for long, right? Because then they would move on.
Who do it for long?
An adjunct professor.
Oh, interview the aliens?
Yeah. Would we get a lot of stuff done, or would we be like, I got to go teach social studies?
Well, what did your brother-in-law teach?
He's a band director now, but he taught whatever he taught before that, music stuff, probably.
Uh-huh.
I don't know.
At a small college?
Yeah, I don't know these classes, man. I don't remember any. I didn't go.
Yeah.
I took math. I've said it. Speech. That's what I took.
I don't mean your classes, but I thought maybe you knew the class he taught.
No, I don't then know. Once I realize I'm not getting into it, then my my brain is done with it.
Okay.
I don't remember a lot of stuff. My mom's even texted me and said, "How do you not know this?" She's now to the point where she thinks she's wasted my high school education.
Yeah.
She went that far to go, I don't know if we should have even done that. Like I should have just been kept in the fence in the backyard.
You had classic PE games though.
We had AP Wellness.
Yeah.
We called it. Yeah. I told that on this, right? Yeah. AP Wellness. So yeah, because it was the real deal. Yeah, I've been thinking about that. Why I don't remember stuff. I forget. I watch these movies over and over again. I just forget stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And Laura always says she thinks we have to have so much in we're thinking about so much. As a comedian, you have so much of your act. You have I've done, this is 4 hours, 5 hours of material. And you just have so much that it's new stuff doesn't come in and stay. Unless it's I'm going to use it for my job,
yeah,
it doesn't stay with me. And so I don't
I think even if you don't remember it, that doesn't mean it doesn't benefit you or change you in some way.
Maybe, I don't know. I don't think it does. If you don't remember it, then it's like,
You tell me like the first 5 years of your life weren't important and fundamental, but you don't remember anything from when you were 0 to 5.
That's a good point, Aaron. Wow.
Got you there, dude.
Notre Dame. I didn't go to college, so is that what they teach there? Stuff like that?
Not really, man. You're talking about math. I took a class called friendship in college.
Oh. You paid a bunch of money for that. What did they teach in friendship?
It was called Friendship, from Aristotle to Facebook. And it was just about...
Should have been Aristotle to Ted Lasso.
Yeah, Ted Lasso wouldn't go to that. Which, by the way, I don't have my phone. Do you have your phone? Did I show you the...
Yeah.
So I texted Jason. I know Jason Sudeikis. I know everybody doesn't. I'm sorry. I know these people. But Jason he's so great. He really is. If you watch Ted Lasso, he is that guy. He's just a wonderful person.
Very positive.
Very positive. Just a wonderful person. So we posted the Ted Lasso clip about you did Aristotle, and then I came back with Ted Lasso, and I sent him that clip, and I said I started a podcast and just wanted to share with you how impactful Ted Lasso has been. Ted is my Aristotle. And then he laughed. He laughed and said, "You are right. Your co-hosts are wrong. History will make them look like fools. You're a prophet. That's not an easy path." That's straight up from Ted Lasso.
Wow.
Text Aristotle. See what he says. What's he gonna do? Huh? What's he gonna say? What's your friendship class about?
It's about how we understand what it means to be a friend.
In college, man?
Yeah.
They taught that in college? Where do you get the nerve?
Aristotle had some interesting things to say about friendship.
Oh, my God. Did they not? Because they thought, what is it, a class of a bunch of losers that didn't have friends?
God.
I mean, that's unreal.
It was a philosophy seminar
There's
class.
zero. That's crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah. You can't get a degree in it. You can't get you can't even major in friendship, but it was just a little seminar class.
Well, you should go get coffee and have this conversation. You shouldn't your parents should get their money back. You should honestly be like, we're going to send you a check for like $500 because that friendship stuff was like, I don't know what we were thinking. That's what Notre Dame should do. But they should go, I don't know what we were thinking back then, dude. Like, we just got into this friendship thing. And so that doesn't make sense. Did you tell your family that you took a friendship class?
I don't think they know, no.
Did you choose this class or was it required?
It was you have to pick a seminar, and I just chose okay. It would fill the philosophy requirement too.
And how long was it?
A semester.
I don't know. I just don't.
But Aaron does have a lot of friends.
Have you learned something from it?
No.
That Aristotle quote?
But that's my fault. I didn't learn anything.
You didn't apply it?
I actually did. I remember. Aristotle said,
yeah.
He said, men can't be friends until you've eaten salt together. That's what he said. In other words, you have to go through some sort of...
You can pick your nose and you can pick your friends. Like they write that on the board when you walk in. That's what's right when you sit down. You're like, oh, this will be a good one today. Where's this going to go? That's unreal, dude. I didn't get into college. And this is what they're teaching?
This isn't like the main class that you take,
What are they learning there?
We read through different philosophers and authors and what they thought about what it means to be a friend.
Call it something else.
What do you call it?
Philosophy, like just something else. And this should be a subject. You shouldn't go, I've got to go to my friendship class. I wouldn't be friends with you. If you go, I got to go to my friendship class, I'd be like, what? I would be like, well, so us being friends is fake, dude. Like it looks like you're going to study so we can hang out later. So we can just sit and talk.
A treatment.
That's unreal. That's unbelievable. I would love to see some of these.
It wasn't like lessons on how to make friends, dude. It was just
It broke it down? Well,
Yeah.
what is friendship? What does friendship mean?
Well, that's the question, dude. That's what we're exploring. What does it mean?
It means to be friends with someone.
Yeah, but what does that mean, dude?
Well, then that never stops because we can always keep going. Well, what does that? Then what does that mean?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
See?
Dude, I would love.
So you're a philosophy major.
Yeah.
That's what it's all about.
And then do you ever? So there's no answer. So at the end of it, you just go.
Well, everybody has.
So what'd you learn? You go. I don't know if I learned anything.
I learned that a lot of people think different things.
Oh man, this is one of the top universities in the country, in the world. We should go through some. I mean, I took math, and I get made fun of. That's actually people are using it. We should go do. We should look at some of these classes.
I took a lot of classes like that. Thomas Aquinas on angels. I took that.
What is that?
It's a class about what Thomas Aquinas thought about angels.
Just him.
Just him.
He wrote a lot about it.
Thomas who?
Aquinas. You never heard of it?
It
No.
was Aquinas College here in Nashville.
Yeah. Is that after him too? Oh. They probably didn't teach that there, you know? He's got his own college. Y'all just took a class. I mean, that seems... I took a class about what John Deere thought about tractors. It's called John Deere. We learned all about John Deere and what his world was about. Which would be a better class than the classes you're naming. Maybe. A John Deere class, you should learn about tractors. That's how we got this table here. I think John Deere brought it. It's actually a guy named John Deere. Kelly Jones. I'm not someone who typically believes in things like this, but I've seen the Men in Black. They walked up my neighbor's long driveway past their house and walked into the dense woods behind their house. 2 men in black suits, sunglasses, black suitcases. I watched it from my kitchen window about 100 feet away. My parents lived in a round-shaped house, so we think it may attract these things. She wouldn't lie about that.
She may not know what an encyclopedia salesman is.
I don't get how.
Why are they walking in the woods?
I don't get how it follows from the fact that their house is round. What does that have to do with anything?
Because it's a weird shaped house, so the aliens think they're welcomed.
Yep.
I think that's very logical. I'm sure you didn't learn it in your college, but that would be, that makes the most sense to me, to be honest. I didn't believe her until she said that. And then once I read that, I go, well, I mean, obviously she's telling the truth.
She's got a round-shaped house.
She's got a round-shaped house.
Clearly what happened, yeah.
They fly over and they look for, they go, oh, there's us.
Exactly. Oh, crop circles are the same principle?
No, I don't. I mean, that people make those, I think. Yeah, maybe they do make them to land there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't really know about
to communicate with them. Yeah. Yeah.
It's pretty good. All right. That was it, right? So, Vuori, a new perspective on performance apparel. If you're tired of traditional workout gear, I have Vuori. I wear Vuori. I have the Sunday Performance jogger pants. Wear them probably more to lay around, honestly, than work out. But I love them. They're the most comfortable pants. I got their sweatshirts. Awesome sweatshirts. Vuori is great. I'm starting to see commercials for Vuori. They're on TV now. It's like becoming a big thing. It was easy for me to go online, find what I like, order it. Perfect. I mean, it fits perfect. Everything is designed to work out in, but like I said, it doesn't feel like that or look like it's comfortable anytime you want to wear it. Vuori is an investment in your happiness. For our listeners, they are offering 20% off your first purchase. Get yourself some of the most comfortable and versatile clothing on the planet at vuori.com/Nate. That's VUORI.com/Nate. You will receive 20% off your first purchase, but enjoy free shipping on any U.S. orders over $75 and free returns. Go to vuori.com/Nate and discover the versatility of Vuori clothing. Also, this episode is brought to you by Magic Spoon. Magic Spoon, as I've talked about, it's a great cereal to start your day. It's healthy. It's a nice, healthy cereal that has 4 flavors: cocoa, fruity, frosted, and peanut butter. 0 sugar, 11 grams of protein, and only 3 net grams of carbs in each serving. It's a super simple way when you start your day, you need to eat good. That's where things can go off the rails, and it can mess you up the rest of the day. And this is just a super simple way to go pour a bowl of cereal. It's keto friendly, gluten free, grain free, soy free, low carb, GMO free, all the things. It's all the free things that you want. It's amazing, tastes great. Go to magicspoon.com/Nate to grab a variety pack and try it today. And be sure to use our promo code Nate at checkout to save $5 off your order. And Magic Spoon is so confident in their product, it's backed with a 100% happiness guarantee. So if you don't like it for any reason, they will refund your money, no question asked. But you will love it. It's great. Get healthy. I'm about to start getting super healthy. I want to lose weight. I want to lose like 10, 15 pounds. Probably more than that, but that's a start. That's magicspoon.com/Nate and use the code Nate to save $5 off. Thank you, Magic Spoon, for sponsoring this podcast. And now we will be switching over to the very funny to talk about the state of Washington, Adam Ray.
How are you? What's your name?
Caleb.
Caleb, nice to meet you. Nice to meet you.
Tristan, you just don't care.
I think I got it when I came in, didn't I?
Yeah.
Or I think he mumbled it. It sounded like it was, or he was like giving me his credits or something. I don't know. He's like, you might see me on this. He's like, what's up, man?
Yeah, he's like, what's up? All right, everybody. We got today. We've been doing states.
Yeah.
And so we've been talking about different states, and it's kind of turned into this thing that actually have had some comics come in, and when they come in town, and you're like, oh, great, we're just talking about their state with them. And so we have Adam Ray, who is from Washington.
Yeah.
Washington.
Edited some crowd noise,
Yeah.
I'm guessing. Yeah.
People are excited. If I'm not mistaken, Chaz, Washington. Is that where you're from? That's a joke. You know, Chaz.
Well, your acting has gotten better during the pandemic.
Yeah.
Because I was like,
It's pretty good,
I
right?
did not know,
yeah,
dude.
No.
I wear so much Seattle gear.
I know. Chaz, but that's the...
Is that still a thing?
Is that a place?
No, that's the thing where they took over the middle
Chaz.
of... Yeah, Chaz.
Wasn't it Chad?
I think they changed it.
It was Chop at
It was
one
Chop,
point.
and then
Right.
Chaz. And then
Yeah.
Chaz.
But people were like, is that where you
Chaz.
can get a salad? Like,
Yeah.
We'll edit that out. But I think it was Chaz, and then it went to Chad. Or was
Yeah.
it Chad to Chaz?
I think it was Chaz and Chop.
Gotcha.
I don't think Chad...
Either way,
ever-
there was a
I think
lot of-
Chad started it.
Really bummed that they
Yeah.
called him Chaz.
Yeah, yeah.
Guys, finally,
Yes,
I started a
they started
movement.
it,
I
yeah.
can't get any credit
I
for
own
this.
part of the town.
yeah. Yeah, that was a big deal.
Yeah.
I do remember when I saw it and I was like, typical, that part of Seattle.
Yeah,
Very, hippy dippy-ish, but also down for the cause, looking to make a
Mhm.
change.
yeah.
And then I started hearing rumblings that it was getting kind of violent. But then I'd see images. But then like Dave Matthews would go on Instagram and be like, "Guys, I'm down here to tell you that it's just all Jamba Juice and high fives.
Yeah, yeah.
Nothing too crazy is
Yeah.
really happening." So I was
Yeah.
like, I believe Dave Matthews over the news.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
and
That's where I get my news from.
totally.
Yeah. Yeah. Is he from there too?
He lives there.
Oh.
His wife went to University of Washington. And I think he's from Virginia originally.
Yeah.
But they live there and rep it pretty hard.
Yeah.
But so he went down there to kind of give the full scoop.
Virginia makes sense for him. Now that I think about it,
I think he was born in South Africa.
Yeah.
Which is why he's got all
Oh.
the crazy guitar rhythms
Yeah.
and whatnot. But
and then he brought it to Virginia.
totally.
Yeah.
And then they were like, "You can go ahead and take that over to Chaz
Yeah,
Washington."
Yeah, Chaz Washington. and it really took off from there.
He's like, "Only if I can give people the actual story.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah.
I don't want to just go
I
and
think absolutely. Dave Matthews was. I remember his "Hug Me" song where he had Judah
every day
Friedlander.
with Judah. Yeah, that was a
And
big deal. Judah
that
was
that
we
was a
talk
big deal.
about credits. Like that was a thing for a while where I think it was on his poster because that video was so big.
It was when I first moved to New York and started comedy, and Judah would come in.
Yeah, we get it, dude. You work.
It was
right?
yeah. And so like 2004 or 5, and that's how you'd bring Judah up on stage.
It
The
was?
Hug Me guy from Dave Matthews.
Wow.
So that was his credit, and everybody knew. And so Judah's been getting recognized, which he's got a very unique look.
He does.
But Judah is, I'll never forget. That was his first. That was the credit, and everybody knew what it was. And that video was so big.
Enormously popular.
Yeah.
Do you remember your first credit? I just had a conversation about this with a buddy about the thing that I would go on stage to when I first, I think it was the first real credit. Prior to that, I think it was like, there was an Adam Ray who did a sketch on like Jimmy Kimmel, but it was spelled like R-E-Y. But
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
like, you can just say it's me.
Yeah, yeah.
So I'd go up to that and And then I was a guest star on Jim Belushi's According to Jim in 2007.
Yeah.
And I was so jacked to tell people, like, I think it was
According
the
to
improv.
Jim.
And then I found out it was going to be the season premiere.
Yeah.
So I remember slipping that in too. I was like, oh, wait, no, you can say it's the season premiere.
Yeah.
Like, I'd be like,
Yeah.
wait, what? Kind of doing what Tristan did to me.
We're starting to, yeah.
Yeah. Where he
Yeah.
was like, what are you doing, man? I was like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I just got here.
Yeah.
Hang at the doorway if you don't
You're
mind.
starting the season of, you're like, yeah, it's a new season. You got just a little one spot on According to Jim. You're like, yeah, this season's we're going through a lot of ups and downs. You're like, oh yeah, how many?
Did they tell you the whole season arc? Nah, but you could just feel it.
You
From
could
the set.
yeah.
You know what's going to happen. They're going to stay together. You know, Jim
Yeah.
and Courtney Thorne-Smith. She doesn't go by her character name? Nah, she goes by Court.
No.
But you would know. You weren't there.
Yeah. She did. I would. Yeah. My first credit. Well, New York would always be. No one cared what your credits were. No one had credits, so they would make credits They would sound insane. So when you
because
go
people
on,
still wanted to go up to something, right?
well, but they want to go up to someone, and the host just it wouldn't matter, and so the host would then bring up. They'd bring it, and they'd be like, "This guy's been on VH1." This is when VH1 Best Week Ever was. Every comic
Loved
was
it.
on.
Yeah.
And so they would everybody be brought up to that. This guy's been on VH1, BET, Comedy Central, just naming HBO, naming all this stuff. And then, you're in New York, and so it's supposed to be, everybody's kind of supposed to be famous that's going on these stages. Obviously, no one is.
Yeah.
So they would just do a bunch of credits. I don't know if did I tell the Mike Vecchione story? Where they mentioned,
no.
so Vecchione, Vecchione, right?
Oh, yeah. Right.
So we're at this comedy club called Comics,
Yes.
and Mike Vecchione's supposed to go up, and the host forgets Mike's name. And so he keeps going, and he's like, all right, we got this next comic coming up, and he's been on Comedy Central, HBO, Showtime. He's just trying to remember his name, but he keeps rattling off credits. And so, I mean, it sounds like he's like Apollo.
All he's doing is
all
giving
these
him the
VH1.
biggest.
And you're like, well, I mean, this is going to be one of the most famous people
Eddie
ever.
Murphy.
Eddie, yeah, you're like, who is this going to be? He's done everything. And he keeps just naming stuff.
Starts giving like specific facts. His favorite
yeah,
colors like magenta.
magenta.
He's been to the Dave and Buster's in Queens.
Yeah, he founded this club. And then he can't remember his name. So he goes, everybody, make some noise for him. And he just called him.
Yeah.
And then him, here he is.
Yeah.
Him. And he's like, all right.
Which is great because I would love to know what was the alt. What was also locked and loaded that he was going to maybe say, but then he's like, just say him. Like, did he have a version of the name?
Yeah.
Did he in his head, sometimes you meet somebody and you're like, oh, I think it's, like I, thankfully remember Tristan because you said it right after again, but maybe, if I walked out, I would have been like, I'll see you like
Justin.
like I knew it was a T, but I was like, Trammy Tram, so maybe like Mike, he had a version of
T-Dog,
that.
T-Bone.
Yeah.
He just calls to give him
Well, that's always
Teaster.
the teaster. You just remind me of another him type moment. It was at the Irvine Improv. And Mark Saratel and I were on this Comedy Juice show. And Mark had this friend named Brett Palicano, who was like his 8th time doing stand-up, but he was a real sweet guy, like just so much energy and passion out of the gate for life and stand-up. Was he good? No. And but he was a sweet kid. And from there, so he was like, I can bring like 80 people.
Yeah.
And it's Comedy Juice Tuesday night, 10 p.m. show.
Yeah.
Mark's like, I'm going to give him a spot because he's going to bring a lot of people. And he's so likable. He's like, and he'll host. He's like, and he's actually not terrible with like crowd interactions, enough to be
a host.
Even if
he's bringing 80 people.
Totally. Even if he's not doing jokes in his crowd work, he's just got that fun, like, where are you guys from? Oh, I've been there. Like, you're like, was that a joke? Or was he just confirming that he's also seen that spot? But he definitely leaned in and had the timing of that being a punchline. Like, what is it? What are those chicken fingers? Delicious. Again, was that a joke? So he gets to bringing a comic up, and this is unreal. And we find out later that he was pretty under the influence, but was hiding it well. And he's giving a long intro, and he just goes, "This next guy," gives a whole long thing, and you can see him start to rattle and spiral out of control. We're like, "Oh, he doesn't know who's next," and then he just confidently commits to it and just goes, "So keep it going, make some noise for my man." But said it to where you're like, I think that's the guy's name. Or I think that's his like alter ego. That this comic gets up and is like, thanks, and hoping that people be like, my man. Or, have my man t-shirts, so that's
my man. It would be a comic that would be selling out that you wouldn't know who he is.
Yeah.
Like you'd be like, who is it? You're like, it's my man.
It's the
dude.
My Man
And he sells out.
Comedian My
he's-
Man.
Yeah,
yeah.
YouTube
he's
star.
doing 40 shows at Zany's, and you're like, really? I don't know. Who
Those
is
80
this?
people came here for bread, but
Yeah.
they love My Man.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a My Man crowd.
It's tough when you're hosting is.
It's an art.
It's yeah,
And it's an acquired skill set.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how much you did of it getting going. Like, I feel like you
I
just
did
were-
it. I did do it. I was usually terrible at it.
Yeah.
And I would do a lot of like at Caroline's. I would host because Caroline's would just have a lot of times you'd have just a host and then the headliner, and then sometimes someone would bring a feature. But the way Caroline's ran on Broadway is when they did the weekend shows, it was a regular like. New York is usually showcase shows, so
Right.
it's like 6 comics on a show.
Right.
But Caroline's was almost like a Zanies or side split, just regular host, feature, headliner. And so the host would always be a local New York comic that's actually pretty good. And like because it's all these New York guys that you'd get paid the most to host, so you'd want to go work a weekend.
Right.
And so many times people bring in a feature that would be not good because they're just bringing their buddy from the road or whatever. And then you have someone hosting that's been on 5 Lettermans and all this kind of stuff and is really good. So you would host in those kind of situations. But I would never do a lot of crowd work. I always just kind of did my act. And, I tried sometimes, but it's...
crowd work wasn't really a... By the way, should I be hugging the mic more or is this distance fine?
No, this is good.
Okay. I feel like you would have done some aggressive, like...
Yeah.
You don't seem above doing big gestures to get what you need. Yeah.
He's not.
We just
Yeah,
let
he
it
and I are
happen.
starting our own podcast.
Yeah.
Whoa, look
You
at
know
that
what it-
segue.
yeah, you know what it-
All right, go ahead and plug your dates, man. What's up? What are you doing?
Well, you know when it airs? During this podcast.
But doing crowd work in New York isn't a...
Well, the guys are so good at it.
Yeah.
And they do it so well. And it's the best crowd work that because every night is where are you from? And someone's from somewhere.
Just going to say LA, New York, I think cities where you're getting a lot of...
you can ask people. Where
people
they're
from all over,
Yeah.
right? Cities where there is a lot of coming and going from all places.
And they crumble on the road because they go, where are you from? They're like, Houston.
Yeah.
And you're like, you're in
Omaha,
Houston.
man. I haven't left
Yeah,
since I was a
yeah.
kid.
What about you in the back? And they're
Yeah.
like, Omaha. Like, you're like, so everybody's from Omaha? You're like, yeah, dude. Like that's
No
where we're all from.
transplants.
Yeah. No one else. And that's where they have trouble. Where
Yeah.
the good ones figure it out. But it's definitely an art to it. I mean, you got to know how to do it.
Do you think it's come in and out of fashion? Has it always been a popular thing? I feel like I see a lot more of it now
Crowd
than
work?
I did even a few
Yeah.
years ago. Yeah, it's just
Yeah.
become kind of a trendy thing to do.
Yeah,
I think it's hard to write an act. That's my theory with it. It's very hard to come up with jokes.
totally.
And so it's a lazier way to be like, you can still be very funny and still put on a great show and people enjoy it, but you're not having to write an act
Totally.
and come up with stuff. And it's very, very hard to come up with jokes.
I think if
Very
you're
hard.
doing, 1,000%, which is why you're so brilliant.
Exactly.
Yeah.
This is what I've been saying the whole time. No.
You are, man. Even when I was just trying to think the last time I saw you, I was going to say was opening for Chris Rock in Seattle.
Yeah.
But then it was at the store actually. And you had just so much new stuff. And it was like, you're so good and one of my faves to watch. So it's like, there's no real opportunity for like jealousy because
Yeah.
I'm just like, I'm never going to think like that.
Yeah.
And the stuff. But then you did a couple things where I was like, how come my brain isn't better?
Yeah.
But
everybody feels that. I feel that. Like
Totally.
now coming up with because I'm trying to write a new hour now. And coming up with that is like, you just feel, you're like, dude, I am awful.
I got nothing.
Yeah. I mean, I'll go to Zany's and we're just working on this new stuff. And I mean, you get done, you're like, dude, I mean, I might be one of the worst comedians
Yeah.
in America. You just feel that way. It just doesn't, it's hard to, come up with a new act this way now. I do it so much on stage.
You
And
do,
now
yeah.
when the stage is gone, it's a new way that I got to figure out how to do it.
Yeah.
It's interesting. I mean, it's a whole, but I mean, you're like that. We did a show together. Where did we go? Phoenix, Arizona.
Oh, I think it was Mesa.
in Mesa. Yeah. Yeah.
That was
Went
fun.
that was a fun time. Went to Hooters.
We did. We went to Hooters.
It was a good.
Some people are probably thinking right now, pre-show? No, post-show, for
post-show.
sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
We didn't get our
Yeah.
pre-show dinner,
Yeah.
but there was truly nothing in the area. And that sounds like an excuse to be like, oh, you probably took the gig because the Hooters was there.
Yeah. That's why I took it.
It was the Hooters tour, actually.
Yeah. Not a bad idea.
There was a golf tour. There was a Hooters
Yeah.
tour where they did that. This was when Hooters was in their heyday. Hooters it's not what it was.
It's not. It's and we had a good time there because again, it was like the show was so fun and this is what's the best about being with hanging with comics you haven't kicked it with on the road for the first time. If you're hopefully both willing to just make the best of what's around you, and it was like, all right, what's nearby that has TVs for sports and good enough food and
I do like
clean
Hooters
bathrooms.
food. Yeah.
Yeah. Remember that? I remember the bathrooms being cleaner than normal, cleaner than other Hooters. I was like, this must be where it started,
I bring everybody down to my reality when we hang out on the road. Like they're usually going to go to some like better, healthier kind of decision. And then I think that I get it thrown on me a lot because I think like if you want to eat healthy, you're with me, you're like, well, Nate, you can know that you're going to, once you get with me, he's going to want to go to some chain thing. And so you kind of save up. Though. Yeah. You save up until you get to me. And then you're like, perfect.
Try to eat well until you hang with Nate.
And then you can,
Do you remember that there was a bodybuilding competition right next door to us? Because it was you and I and I want to say Brooks Wheelan or Thomas Dale.
Yeah.
And those are two completely different comics, but I feel like it was one of the energies are also different. I think it was Brooks.
I think it was Brooks too.
Because I feel like there was definitely like a melancholy, stoned feeling in the green room before we got there. And,
they were getting sprayed. They were spray tanning.
Yeah,
right.
Remember in the hallways.
And it smelled like you would think.
It smelled like a bodybuilding competition, which I know you're like, well, what does that smell like? Well, think of a lot of tanning oil and no carbs around and
just jacked women, men. They were just all down.
That's what threw me for a loop because I've seen the men, but I don't think I've gone out of my way to really get to know the female bodybuilding competition. And because it scares me? Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. And also it's like seeing it live. It's just like anything. It's like when I first went to a hockey game live, I was like, oh, it's way better live. Not the case for bodybuilding. You seeing it up close. You're like, I'd rather just see this from afar.
Seeing it in backstage is definitely different.
Totally.
Because that's
just walking by you.
Yeah.
What are you guys here for?
Yeah.
Well, obviously not what you're doing.
Yeah.
But
I mean, just the opposite.
just look at our outfits.
Yeah. Just a mess. Like just going in.
But just so jacked. And I always wondered, there was a girl from high school, Jennifer Stewart was her name. Probably changed now because she got married, but she was the first girl that I remember having a crush on that I went out of my way to get like a gift for, right? Yeah. And I'm a real big kid. Love to double fist Pop-Tarts, dip them in Cool Whip. Still do. But
you were a big kid.
Yeah.
Growing up. Yeah. Because now you're good.
Okay, dude. Well, that just lets me know that I will definitely be going to the gym when I get back to the hotel.
Yeah. I mean, you're just kind of a big guy.
Yeah, but I
think you're,
I fluctuate, I could probably be down another 10 right now, but we'll see.
I do agree with that.
The show that I'm on, I'm on the Young Rock, the Rock show that's coming on NBC, and I'm playing a guy that's, I can't really say yet, but he's a very prominent guy in the wrestling world and in Dwayne's career, but in future seasons, if we get more, I'm going to have to
take your shirt off.
Shirt off, but also probably whether it's creatine or straight up roids, I'm going all in.
Well, so the roid thing is a lot of people do it. People do it more than you think.
Oh yeah.
And you now when you see well, how's that guy so big?
You forget that.
Yeah, someone because the guy we work out with is a strong man.
Oh,
and
cool.
He's a big dude, and he's like,
pushes cars and
they do all that kind of stuff. Yeah, like throwing just odd shaped things over tall things. And Matt McQuiston, you can follow him on Instagram. He's awesome. But he shows all his videos, and I mean, he looks like Thor, a redheaded Thor, and he is a big dude. But he talks about getting that extra jacked is they have to take something. Your body can only do so much.
Yeah,
and then you gotta add a little extra to it.
People forget. Like you look at Frank Thomas and you're like, and for the listeners who don't follow baseball, they're like the eugenics guy.
Yeah,
no, he was a superstar in the 90s. Yeah. I had a shoe, the Big Hurt, and was just a beast. But he didn't just do a couple extra push-ups to become the biggest guy in baseball. And then you forget when they all got busted, it's not like that was the end of it.
Yeah.
They just were like, I will find a different one.
They find
Right.
a better way to do it where you can't.
When your 24-hour fitness closes, you go to a Bally's or a Curse.
Yeah.
You just adjust.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys get sponsored by them. But
valleys are cars. You're just in there, just throwing the cars a real heavy weight.
I was at a 24-hour fitness in LA, the one on Sunset once, and they closed at 11 on Fridays and Saturdays.
Yeah.
I don't know why. And I remember leaving
11 p.m.
11 p.m.
Yeah.
It's 24-hour fitness.
Yeah.
And to this point, I had always walked in, if I was working on a night like that, it's about 10:30 or whatever, I'm walking out, and because I just know the rules, and I see a guy walking in, and the gal, before I'm leaving, she goes, "Oh, so just a quick reminder, if you got about 15 minutes for your workout," and he just goes, "I'm sorry, what?" And she goes, 15 minutes. He goes, What are you talking? What are you talking about? And she's like, "We closed at 11." He goes, and he just looks up at the sign and goes, and she's like, "I know it's just," and he goes, "What are you doing?"
Yeah.
And just made such a hassle. So I was like right at the door. So then I just kind of took my phone out and lingered and was like, "Oh, I got a couple emails. I should check real quick," just to listen to him berate this sweet gal. And he flipped like full on, like, "If you're gonna put it on the website, change the name of your gym to Fridays and Saturdays at 11 and sometimes 24 hours."
Yeah.
And to her credit, she was like, "Yeah, well, that's obviously too many letters for the marquee."
Yeah.
She didn't say that, but she was thinking it. Yeah, I could see it in her eyes.
Yeah. He would agree with that.
Yeah.
And they go, "Well, don't you think it was you a better name?" He's probably, just sometimes fitness.
It's false advertising.
Sometimes
That is
fitness.
good. Yeah.
Planet Fitness is kind of my favorite because they went for it. They're
Yeah.
just like, "Look, we're not going to tell you how long we're open. We're just
Yeah.
going to tell you that this is the place that's, I guess."
We got a guy right here that's kind of locked in with them.
Are you really?
Yeah. He's got a sponsored deal with Planet Fitness.
I joined Planet Fitness after Ralphie May died. I haven't been once.
Yeah.
I'm going to take that back.
They called it, they call it the Ralphie May package. Where you just, true Ralphie May form.
Did Ralphie ever hit a gym? Probably.
No. Maybe, I don't know.
No.
He just got, he did the surgery, I know.
Right.
But then that's the thing. A lot of guys have to do that surgery where there's stomach, but it goes back.
Yeah,
It's
because you
just-
can't just, it's not like it takes away your hunger too.
It's true it's hard to, when you got to eat healthy, and I have trouble with it now. I was making my food last week. That's already gone. Where I was trying to cook for the week and then kind of
you're meal
package
prepping.
stuff, meal prepping.
Yeah.
And it's just such a big thing. It's such a nightmare to do. And then so it's hard not to be. You get hungry and you're like, I'm just going to eat, and whatever your brain can come up with.
This is a great transition to the rest of my story with Jennifer Stewart. So it was the first girl I had a crush on, and I told my mom I wanted to give her something for Valentine's Day, and she's in a different classroom. So I get flowers, chocolates, and a stuffed animal. I'm going for it. The triple threat of, do you also feel the same way about me?
Yeah.
Didn't have any note or card, but
Yeah.
I was like, I feel like 3 gifts is probably, the message is clear.
The message is clear.
And so I go to and it's before school. I'm biked to school with all of it. So that was already a mess. And look, did I eat a couple of the chocolates when I got to school? I don't remember.
Maybe.
For sure I did.
Yeah.
And so I'm giving her a half complete box of chocolates. But I'm like, maybe we can go to the store and buy the rest together as our first date. And so I walk into her classroom. People are putting all their bags and coats away. It's so funny how vividly I remember this. And I walk in and I'm just like, and I didn't have a speech prepared. I'm sure I did in my head of like, these last few months have been just crazy. And I know you don't think much of me now, but someday I'm going to guest star on According to Jim, and you're going to think differently, right? The tables will turn, and you'll want to hang out with Belushi and Olive and In, And so I give her all the gifts and I'm just like, Happy Valentine's Day. I hope it's a great day. And she just looks at me and I think got a little thrown off by the people that kind of looked and saw that it turned into a little bit of a presentation. So she was like, I don't want that. And I just quickly, just kind of went into myself and was like, cool, I wanted this stuffed animal, which was like, everyone knew that I didn't. So it was even sadder. It was like, no, you didn't.
You didn't want it.
You don't want that stuffed bear with
Definitely
chocolate
one of those
stains.
chocolates.
Yeah. So cut to the point of that story. She, years later, became a bodybuilder. And
Maybe you steered in that direction.
possibly.
Yeah.
But I remember commenting on her page in classic comic form. I was like, there's got to be a fun way for me to give a throwback to that story and what she's doing now. And and I wrote a little like, remember when I gave you this, like, congrats, like it's looking great, well, that. I go, remember when I gave you all that stuff and you said no, and she's like, yeah, I still feel bad about that. And then I made one more joke like, yeah, well, it's still got the chocolates, and then just no response. And I was like, lesson learned. Like non-comics sometimes just don't really have.
That was like too much stuff. You probably gave her too much then. And then you commented too much.
Oh, I'm constantly just the give and take ratio.
The second comment, the first comment was the bear.
Like, boy, this guy just doesn't know when to stop.
The second comment was the chocolate. And he's like, here we go again. Yeah.
This guy's just constantly.
Just constantly coming at me.
Yeah.
But now, just, you're going to be on the rock. I mean, now, all the movies you've been in.
A couple. You're so sweet. I remember when we first kicked it in Montreal, I think I'd only done like, 2 movies. And you were just like, everywhere we go, you're like, this guy's in movies. You're the movie star right now.
You're in movies, and it's not like just
done enough little
dumb.
Yeah,
you're
a couple
in
cool ones. And
Sandra Bullock. You're friends with Sandra Bullock.
I was texting with her the other day.
I mean, huh?
Oh, man.
How fun's that?
That is wild.
Very cool.
Yeah.
What was that about?
What we were texting about?
Yeah.
I gave her some chocolates.
Yeah.
He
tried it
finished
again.
the box yet.
He keeps trying it. Same move.
Yeah.
It's going to work on somebody.
Yeah. I was like, I know Valentine's Day is just around the corner.
Yeah.
No, it was what were we texting about?
What was the movie? It was
The Heat.
I watched it. The Heat.
Yeah. Classic. Yeah. A good just put on the background, like enough jokes per. Those are the types of comedies I like too, because it's, the story's good enough. The plot's not too crazy for you to follow.
Yeah. It's a fun movie.
Yeah.
And I think I'd like.
Got Rappaport in it. Bill Burr's in it.
At a movie, when you film a movie, it's you're there for, how long were you there for The Heat? Like just.
Maybe 2 months. It was, which was awesome.
Where was it at?
They put us up in Boston.
Yeah.
And it was stayed at like the Fairmont in the wharf, or in the Little Italy was right around the corner.
Yeah.
Because the first day I only shot one thing that took like a half hour. And so Michael Rappaport and I'd never met him. So he was just like, you want to go get some food? And I was like, I would love to.
Yeah.
And then, a bunch of cursing. And then, and we walked down to Little Italy, got some food, chummed it up. Guys need like minimal info to really get to know each other, I feel like.
Yeah.
Sports, comedy,
especially with comedy.
If we've seen Nickelback live, and then it was just like immediate.
We're big fans of Nickelback on this podcast.
Are you really?
Yeah.
Are you really?
Yeah, I am. Yeah.
I think they get a bad rap.
Yeah.
Their sound is, I don't know how you are with tunes, but it's like, if the sound is good, like OMC, How Bizarre, still one of my favorite songs.
Yeah.
Because it's just like a fun, upbeat. Do I know any of the words? No.
Nate doesn't listen to lyrics. That's his thing.
Me neither.
Yeah.
And I'm so bad. Bone Thugs and Harmony, Crossroads, another one of my favorite songs. See, that's most white dudes when they try to sing it.
Did you know, was the Reaper song?
Don't Fear the Reaper.
Don't Fear the Reaper. Did you know that
By
that's...
Bone Thugs?
Yeah. No.
Who sings that?
Blue Oyster Cult.
Yeah.
You know it.
Yeah.
Sing it for me.
It's the cowbell, right?
The cowbell.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Oh,
right.
yeah. Great song.
Yeah,
Bone Thugs should cover it.
Yeah, they should. It fits with what they do,
How
that's what they should say. But that song's like about like suicide or something. And like I was like,
Semi-Charmed Life,
Yeah.
Third Eye Blind,
Semi-Charmed Life
another
is
great
another
song
one,
that I
yeah.
remember. That was my first concert too in Seattle. Was
Oh, yeah?
Semi-Charmed Life at Memorial Stadium. You played Bumbershoot, right?
Yeah.
Great festival. Back in the day when I went, like any festival, I think it hadn't truly gotten commercialized yet. They had great talent, but it was, saw Sugar Ray at a smaller stage right when Fly
Wow.
popped.
Yeah.
And it was packed because Fly was getting a lot of momentum. But I remember they were playing like other songs that weren't Fly. And everyone is not about that. They're like, we came for what we came for, and it's not what you're doing.
Yeah.
So figure it out, Mark McGrath. And so everyone starts booing like through the third or fourth song. And I joined in because I was just like, hey, I'm a man of the people.
Yeah.
And peer pressure. And so he stops mid-song and just goes, all right. I know you guys just want to hear one song. We have other songs. We're trying to play. We just got a few more. And then the boos just overwhelmed him. So then he just goes, F it. He goes, hit it. And it goes, boom, ding-a-ling, ding-a-ling, and everyone goes nuts.
Yeah.
They played it and then walked off stage.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. So they got to leave early.
Totally.
Yeah.
And then he got on a
Easy
bus,
gig.
went right to Extra.
Yeah.
And
It was Bumbershoot.
great festival.
Yeah. What was the one at George Washington?
That's it was the Sasquatch Festival.
Sasquatch too.
Also cool. Did you do that one?
I did that one.
That venue is unbelievable. I
Mhm.
mean, Bumbershoot had more space so they could get more stuff from there.
Yeah.
And that's why when I saw Third Eye Blind at this soccer stadium.
Yeah.
First concert, packed. Made my way all the way to the front with my buddy. There was mosh pits and all that. It got real hot. Couldn't like breathe almost because it was so many people compact. And got knocked to the ground from mosh pits and whatever, which I guess I just assumed maybe mosh pits weren't happening during like, I wish you could step back from. I'm like, I think we can all just stand.
Yeah.
Enjoy it.
They rock out, man.
Yeah,
don't,
they do.
Don't trash Third Eye Blind, dude.
No, I'm just saying the crowd.
It seemed
like the mosh pit was not lining up
for those
with
songs.
the music.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, that doesn't.
It's one of my favorite bands. Yeah.
Okay.
Dude, you're coming in
All
real
right, we're
hot.
cool.
about
We're cool,
Third Eye
He
man.
Blind.
came in real. I mean, that was
Hey, dude.
One of
aggressive.
my favorite bands.
I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
okay, awesome. We're
I
good.
Easy,
take
big
my
fella.
shirt off.
Yeah,
I wish I had a
easy.
Third Eye Blind
Yeah.
tattoo just to
Easy,
kind of.
Sorry,
Aaron.
man. Sorry,
Calm
dude.
down, Aaron.
Yeah.
Aaron gets.
I'll sit out for a few minutes.
Yeah.
Just,
What'd you say? Hey, what was he won't. He's gonna vote not to air this episode. That's what. You want to talk about it on your other podcast?
Yeah, dude.
You guys
maybe we
want to
could
go?
save,
Hey, man, what's up with Adam?
Adam Ray.
today
Dude,
on
I
the?
find
you're
the
like-
title is just Adam Ray
Yeah.
sucks. I'm
Yeah.
like, dude, you could have come up
You
with a more
coulda.
clever title.
Yeah.
No, the music is so great, is what I'm saying.
Oh,
so the
yeah.
mosh pitting didn't seem, the
You
mosh
would
pit.
agree with mosh pitting is weird.
I agree. It's weird to do it to Jumper.
That's
yeah,
what I'm saying.
absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
But they do
We're
have-
on the same page. It took me a second to catch
I
up.
mean,
I'm
for
all
sure.
good now.
It's
I
all good.
apologize.
Yeah, it's all good. Do you we just start fighting right now. The music, they do have some tunes that are conducive to bumping bodies and taking people down.
Oh yeah.
And one of those I think was Graduate or right? There's other tunes that are aggressive.
Yeah. Well, you don't have to make up.
I know. I
this
feel
other
like I just
stuff.
got to include them
Yeah,
now
to
more.
get-
You see,
now
I'm
you're
not
just
looking at you
trying
guys.
to-
I'm like, hey, yo, so what are you doing?
You know, I
about it?
mean, there's other songs. I'd mosh pits a lot of their songs. Actually, you're overwhelmed.
I
Like,
know,
you're like,
dude,
all right,
that's
dude,
me,
don't-
man. Just
yeah.
a nice guy, But so
So you're in the bottom of a mosh pit.
I fall down, and then people fall on top of me,
Oh.
and I'm screaming.
Yeah.
And then I just hear faintly, "There's a guy at the bottom of the pile." I hear this whole conversation through the chaos because they're kind of just like close enough to where the music's above the ground, so I can just hear voices. And somebody's like, "What?" He goes, "There's a guy under the people," and he goes, "Yeah." Clearly didn't hear what the guy said, and he's like, "There's a guy under the people." And he goes, "Under who?" He goes, "Under that guy is another guy." And I'm literally under, there's like 2 or 3 people on top of me, and I'm at the bottom, and more people were just falling. So I'm like, oh, I'm gonna die
Yeah.
listening to Third Eye Blind.
Yeah.
And then thankfully they picked
you
me up
lived.
and I lived, yeah.
Okay. Mosh pits are usually pretty nice.
They are.
In that idea that they will help
Let's
you up.
talk to our mosh
I've been
pit
to a mosh
expert.
pit.
What is the
Yeah.
nicest mosh pit you feel like you've seen?
I've
or
never
done?
been involved in
Oh,
a
then
mosh
maybe.
pit at all.
Oh,
Well,
wow.
maybe, yeah,
Maybe
wow.
you should have backed off
But
on
I've
the
seen-
mosh pit.
But I've seen Third Eye Blind live, but I've saw them way past their prime, and there was not a mosh pit energy in the crowd.
Right.
at
Yeah.
all.
Are you old enough to remember when the grunge movement took off in Seattle?
Totally. So I'm 38. I think I was about actually maybe 11 and 12 when it really got. So
Yeah.
unless Pearl Jam was covering like Hakuna Matata, I was like, all right, like what do you guys do?
Yeah.
But I was around it enough, but I didn't have any older siblings that were, I think I needed maybe to like bring it into my world.
Yeah.
But I did have buddies with siblings that did that got us into, Pearl Jam and Soundgarden and
Nirvana.
Oasis and Nirvana.
Was Nirvana huge? Like it just got
Oh,
in
yeah.
Seattle? Like that stuff was just
Enormous.
Yeah.
And it was also just like the fact that it, originated there and kind
Yeah.
of started this movement. And
Yeah.
I mean, it was really
like set the tone for the whole city.
totally.
Like just kids that were listening to it were just
And and Seattle just has a and Chaz Washington too has this
Yeah.
that's why sports I think thrive, comedy and tunes, because it's a lot of indoor activities do well because of the weather, obviously.
Yeah.
Which isn't as bad as people say all
I
months of
always
the
say
year,
that
but-
when someone asks that, I always say from everybody I talk to, I've been there a few times. It's been the prettiest in the country. Like
Totally.
it's the best. And then I've did days that it does rain. And that's what they say. You just get used to it. It's always kind of just like
Yeah.
rainy. It's like,
And it's how you adjust. It's
Yeah.
why there is, especially in the arts and the sports world, when people find ways to use the time to get good at stuff like that. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I was making a couple buddies and I from high school, we just started doing the sketches and home movie thing like in 7th grade when
Yeah.
it was like on weekends when it was pouring rain and you
that's all
were
you
just
could
at
do.
one. Yeah, it was just like finding ways. It was, how long can you play game
When
day
you're going up
98?
there, you don't ever remember, you never remember thinking Man, it rains a lot here.
When you grow up in it, I don't think you know any different.
Yeah.
As soon as I got to LA, I was like, you can wear shorts every day.
Well, LA's a whole nother.
Yeah.
It's another planet.
Another beast,
I mean,
yeah.
like that's it's perfect every day. That's what LA doesn't realize. I mean, people get tired of that, where it's just they want some kind of change.
You hear a lot of people go, I miss the seasons.
Yeah.
I miss seasons.
Yeah.
And I do. I mean, you get them here, right?
We get them here. I think we have a good balance of where we're mainly during winter. You're around 50 degrees, roughly 40 to 50 in the winter. Yesterday was super warm here, but then today's will get a little bit colder. So we have a good balance where you will have your days of snow and a little bit, but it's not too much. It's not New York. New York was, when it would snow, it was a nightmare. It was just the city, it just was a pain to walk around.
Yeah.
It's so cold. You don't feel like you ever get a break from it. And it was a lot.
Yeah.
You know, and so here, Nashville's got a good balance. We get a lot of rain though.
Is the same, so just to piggyback on Seattle in the 90s, like I just interviewed Sean Kemp at his cannabis store in Seattle. Unbelievable. Not only just to talk to a childhood hero, but also we went deep into like, what was it like to be so glorified and a part of the best time in Seattle, arguably. Was
him and Ken Griffey Jr. the same time?
Yes. Yeah. So he was like, I would go to M's games sometimes till like the fourth inning. Because you want to think too, you're like, are all the greats in my city like buddies? You know, like like is Derrick Henry and OJ Mayo and Darius Rucker, are they all just playing Uno at a cheesecake factory somewhere?
Yeah, possibly. OJ Mayo was a wild name.
I know. That was the first one I could think of.
That's a pretty good name. I mean,
at least I knew somebody, right?
Yeah, now that is something. That's a great name to throw
Mike
out.
Conley,
to be
I
honest.
guess I could have said Marc Gasol.
Mike Conley's gone. Yeah, OJ. I like OJ Mayo. Like OJ Mayo was a. That's a. Yeah, it's a.
If you're playing the OJ Mayo drinking game at home, I think you just
someone's like, "Whoa,
two things of Mayo."
Yeah.
But so he was like, we'd go to M's games, and then Griffey would come to the Sonics games and watch the fourth quarter. He's like, we would go to Pearl Jam. He's like, they were all
do whatever they
just
want,
homies together, which is great. But I was like, was it that cool to be a part of as it felt? And in hindsight, and you see footage of just that era, and he's like, oh, it was the best, man. He's like, the city was alive, and basketball ruled for Seattle, and I think that's why there's such a big void. Like, obviously, soccer's gotten to be cool, and the Mariners did their thing for a minute, and you know, football is taking over, strong as you can be before you just blow it. But
I've been to one Seahawks.
The Kraken. Game. I'm fired up for that.
Yeah.
Again, hockey never had it, so it's and why I love hockey even more.
Wait, do you have an NHL team?
We just got one.
Oh, really?
I think it's this fall. Yeah,
I didn't hear.
Sold out.
I mean, they just started. Yeah,
season tickets sold in like 20
Yeah,
minutes.
and they're called the Kraken.
Yeah.
I kind of like that.
Yeah, one of the cooler logos.
Yeah.
So maybe it'll be the Crack House. Fans of crackheads. Who knows?
Yeah. We I mean when the Titans when the Nashville got the Predators, that was like us where we didn't even know, no one knew anything about hockey here. And it's now become Yeah, I mean they stuck here for, they were here 20 something years, and before it I feel like, I mean, everybody was going, and it was like, but now it's one of, if I've been to some playoff games of the Predators.
Oh, cool.
And I'm one where they lost the Stanley Cup. I went to Stanley Cup finals.
Wow.
And it's it's maybe the best live sporting event I've ever been to is the Predators game. Just everything that goes on, how loud it is. They got lights, they got all this stuff. It's very, the crowd's like chanting. I mean, it's definitely awesome.
I kind of like that it's cold too.
Yeah.
Maybe that's just the Northwest.
It feels good. You wear a jacket.
It's fun to wear a jacket.
It's fun to wear a jacket.
Yeah, that's the name of my next special.
Yeah, it's fun to wear a jacket. Yeah. What does he talk about? A lot of jackets.
Surprisingly,
they don't think it's anything jacket stuff. You got, nah, dude, it's a ton of jacket stuff.
He's got one 17-minute mosh pit Third Eye Blind story that is not worth sticking around for.
I wouldn't stay in it.
It's actually
you
just an excerpt from a podcast. Yeah.
You just hear someone in the crowd go, all right, dude, don't trash Third Eye Blind. And then,
the
guy comes back and goes, no, okay, I agree with what you're saying. Like, yeah, because you killed the momentum of the show. That's what it is.
Is there in-game entertainment in the, what is it, Thunderbirds? Who's your
Predators. Yeah. There's
like a house band up there.
There's a house band. They have stuff. They have a lot of stuff.
They have 2 intermissions, so that was hard to get. As a football fan, they have almost like 2 halftimes.
Yeah, that's weird. I do like the house band. The Mariners at Safeco Field about, I'd say, 10 years ago, had the Baja Men for a game, which was a bold move. Hey, man, an inning is fine.
Yeah.
But they were like, hey, you guys can be here from the 2nd to the 8th? And I'm sure even they were like, I mean,
they did
a lot.
You let the dogs out like every inning?
Oh, it was another Sugar Ray type thing where they tried to play. I think they have one other hit that was in an animated film. You gonna look it up?
Oh yeah.
Hell yeah. It'd be great if you had the page already pulled up and you're like, I'm actually a big Baja Man. Another band you can't mosh pit at.
Yeah.
Do you know the Baja Men were formed in 1977? They've
No,
been around that long.
I don't believe that at all.
Yeah.
For real?
Yeah.
And are they considered like? It's not.
I mean,
Is it a Bohemian? Right? What does it say?
1977.
Bahamas.
present.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like what? That's move like this. That's
Move
what
it
it was.
like this,
Remember?
okay.
Yeah. But Who Let the Dogs Out? They've definitely played it more than once.
Yeah.
And nobody had a problem with it. And it was in the outfield in the beer garden. So I remember I had a couple buddies that were out there that they were like, you got to come to the garden, man. Everyone's going crazy. I'm like, I can see it from here. You know, I can still hear the band, but it was great. It was and it was a cool addition because I'm always fascinated by the stadiums, arenas, whatever, trying to come up with
it's a show
for baseball too. Like what are you getting 100 home games? Maybe like you can't just have multiple bat nights and jersey nights and bobblehead giveaways and fireworks spectaculars. You're like, yeah, maybe like somebody in the Mariners organization was like, could probably get the Baja Man for like $6,000. They could play the 2nd through the 8th. And they're like,
it's you've thrown out the first pitch, right?
Yeah, it's one of the coolest things ever.
Yeah.
And I wore a Dave Niehaus jersey
At a Mariners game?
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome, man.
Yeah. No, just outside Nate's house.
Yeah.
This was like 2006.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, dude. I
It was
think
pretty
we got
cheap
off to
to-
a rocky start.
y'all-
You didn't deserve that.
Yeah, I don't think y'all will ever hang out again outside of this. That's what I'm betting on.
I think all those vibrates in my pocket were
him.
him adding me on Facebook
Yeah.
or just like a pre-apology text
Yeah.
before I got here.
He just, hey man, I'm in a mood. I'm gonna come at you pretty hard. All right.
You got a sweet laugh and
He
an
does.
infectious disposition.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Another great album title.
Yeah. It's a big word. We don't use big words here.
Yeah,
Adam.
my bad, dude. You're a likable guy.
Yeah. Yeah. Why would you just say that?
Yeah.
Actually, he's the one guy who would like those words.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
you
yeah?
guys
Went to
can
Notre
bond
Dame.
over that.
Now, I don't like people though. Like those words for me are fine enough, but I don't like when people do like use words that you're like, come on. Like 1 in 50 million people say that
Y'all
word
are
on it.
kindred spirits, man.
I like that.
Yeah.
Kindred spirits is a cool phrase.
Yeah. Yeah. That's fine. We've had to dumb him down.
Obsequious. If people say obsequious, I kick them out of my house.
The words he's using are not 1 in 50 million.
Oh, really? What's your?
One
Do you have a favorite word? Do you have a go-to word? I think everyone's got a word that they probably say too much once you learn it. Like I remember once I learned the word bewildered.
Yeah.
Oh, probably. I just was going out of my way to be confused, just to be like, I am
Just
constantly
yeah.
bewildered today. And everyone's
Yeah. Why are you using that? I say like a lot, so that's my word today.
like, me too.
Yeah.
I can't stop it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What you
I
got?
went to a big egregious phase.
Cool.
That's a good word.
It's a good word.
Is that
I
egregious?
don't use it very often anymore.
Egregious?
And I know what that
Yeah.
means, but for the fans, if you
Yeah.
could just throw it out,
Just-
definition real quick.
Bad.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay.
Specifically so bad that you need to be cast out of whatever you're in.
Right.
Yeah.
So-
There's a little more
so-
to it.
so
than
this
just
is,
bad. You're
like,
it
for
means
example-
bad. You're like, okay. So
This is a potentially
hear me out.
egregious performance on the podcast so far.
Is
Me
that
me
you should be
today.
cast out
right.
of it.
Like
Yeah.
that's it.
Yeah.
Most of the words he says, they're pretty common, actually. Last week he used fulcrum, and I didn't know that one.
Yikes.
Yeah.
Now this just might be
It
my
was
stupid.
He has a calendar though that tells him to use a word every
See,
day.
I hear fulcrum and I think of Falcor from Neverending Story or Velcro the shoe.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
not far
We
off.
can go ahead
That's
and-
not-
we can go ahead.
Yeah. That's what fulcrum means. Fulcrum means.
What does
is-
fulcrum mean? Why,
Yeah.
Also,
It's a seesaw.
Oh yeah.
it's a seesaw.
It's part of a simple machine, like the middle
Yeah,
of a
why did you
seesaw.
say it?
It's called
The
the
definition's
fulcrum.
more boring than
Instead
the
of-
word.
yeah.
We were talking about early inventions, like a
Oh,
caveman.
yeah,
and I
yeah.
was
Oh,
like,
cool. Okay.
And that's what he said because he goes. That's what he would say as a kid. He goes, "Hey, you want to go do the fulcrum?" And guess who rode that fulcrum alone a lot? The guy that called it fulcrum.
Big solo fulcrum
Yeah.
rider.
And then everybody they go, "I don't know what that is."
Oh man.
So you grew up? Where'd you grow up in Seattle?
So Shoreline, Lake Forest Park is what I
Yeah.
what I say.
I've stayed at a hotel in Seattle. What's the one the Beatles stayed at?
La Quinta Inn.
Yeah.
Fifth,
Yeah.
Fifth Avenue.
Yeah, it was early,
Probably.
early day.
People don't know La Quinta Inn. Same year as the Baja Men.
Yeah,
1970.
77,
Yeah.
There's a hotel there where it's on the water.
Oh, I mean,
And
there's the
I
Ritz
know.
Carlton next to the Pike Place Market.
No, it's not that. It's I thought the Beatles stayed there. I want to say it was wood. A lot of wood.
Linwood.
Linwood.
that's
maybe.
an area.
Could
That's
be.
an area.
Yeah, I'm going off nothing. I thought the Beatles thing would be enough. If that's not enough, then I think I'm out. But that's the one of the moments I was with Graham K, comedian, and I remember Graham. We were talking about because we were looking over the water.
Yeah.
And as a parent, you always have a fear of like your kid falling in water and you have to go find them.
Dude, I fear that for my nieces. And
Yeah.
not even my kids. Like they're even like taking a bath. I'm like, oh, you need somebody, do you have your mom walk? Like,
yeah,
I'm just
you get
terrified of
nervous.
it. Yeah.
You're terrified of it. And I was like, and Harper wasn't with me, but I was like, just as a parent, like some of that, all those bad things sometimes pop in your head. And I tell Graham that, and then he goes, man, it's just nice you have something in your life that you love that much. And I was like,
Yikes.
You should maybe jump in this water. Graham. I was like, what are you, loser? Like, why do you, like, how sad is like a single person's life? Like when you just name something and they're like, I wish I had something like that. You're like, I was like, Graham, what are you doing, dude? Like, I'll never forget. That's what I remember.
Do you think it's something about because there's a word for it too, where you get affected by the weather. I had a girlfriend that we were doing long distance. She was still in Seattle. I was in LA. And, a myriad of reasons got in the way as far as distance, not being around all the time, but also the weather was really, I'd be in sunny LA, moving and shaking.
Mm-hmm.
And she's on a day where she loved to be doing that. It's inside, it's pouring down rain. And it was like, it was affecting her
seasonal
on that level.
Depression.
That's for sure. And so I'm wondering if maybe he got a little dose of that and was on that bridge looking at the water, being like,
Yeah,
maybe I was born to be a fish.
I mean, we were there for 24 hours. I don't know if that.
Yeah, okay. There's enough goodness around you.
He just walks around with that energy. So
the type of guy that chowder can't even cheer him up.
Yeah, you're like, come on, man, let's get some chowder.
Yeah.
You go down to the Pikes. Was it
Pikes Place Market?
Pikes Place Market. Would
Great
you ever
spot.
go there as growing up?
Oh
or
yeah,
is it...
still would go. And anytime friends would come up, there's a handful of touristy places. I think like anywhere even the Space Needle is dope. Like to go up there, it's like such an amazing view, even on a cloudy day. And there's like a restaurant at one level that rotates. That I remember I went to a kid's bar mitzvah there, which was like sounded cool on paper, but we didn't stop moving. So I was like, hey man, everyone's throwing up. Like, a Chuck E. Cheese would have sufficed perfectly. So
it feels like it moves a little quicker.
Yeah, like, it was like speeding up like a Gravitron that they have at county fairs. You're like, okay, is that same kid running this the motion here? But
would y'all go there? That be like your field trips?
Field trips, we would go to like the aquarium, which is where I met my first celebrity at the Seattle Aquarium, local celebrity. Because remember when you would see people on the news?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And I think
he worked in news for a long time.
Oh, did you really?
Yeah.
Do like an anchor or sports or
nah, just producer.
Producer.
This is the first time he's ever been on camera.
Really can't tell.
Yeah.
I'm joking.
This is our mistake.
Yeah.
They fired him because he wanted to be on camera, and we go, we'll take you on camera. We'll plop you right down and throw one right on your face.
You do the way that you've segued into a couple of the questions was very like, you're on top.
Well, he does all the.
You're very professional.
He does all the research, and so he knows a lot about your state. And that's all. I always think that's got to be some channel. That's got to be news journalists.
Does the name Steve Poole ring a bell?
No.
So Steve Poole was our weatherman.
Yeah.
Get a great picture of Stevie up. This will help to sell the story. And again, it's like, didn't LA have like Fritz Coleman? Right? Was like the weather guy. I'm sure you.
Yeah. Back then. I think they're still kind of known, but like he would say, you would go out with, because he'd go out with all the people that were the local, like who'd you go out, like Chris Clark.
Yep.
And so they were, all these people in the news. I mean, they would be,
$1 million
they're celebrities,
smile.
dude. Like they're gigantic celebrities. You see them every day.
Yeah.
And I don't think people when they saw him would be like, what's it going to be tomorrow? But it was more just like seeing them on TV a lot, and then seeing them out and about. And I saw him at the aquarium. And I fanned out at 10, and was just like Steve Poole, and he just kind of like slow motion turn, like, "Hey kid," and just lights around him, and then he had a headshot on him and signed it for me.
Oh wow!
And I didn't ask for that.
Yeah.
I was just like, "Are you here to see the fish?" And he was like, "What's your name, kid?" And I was like, "All right, he's just on autopilot." But took it and was awesome and was real sweet.
And carried it around the rest of the day.
Oh yeah, but it was awesome. It was
apparently he was carrying it around.
Yeah. He finally got rid of it. Yeah.
Thank God.
But people were, I remember other kids being like, no way you met Steve Poole.
Yeah.
Like it was a big deal. But
yeah, man. I mean, I
field trips. I just miss field trips in general.
Yeah, I miss field. I love the idea. Yeah, our daughter goes on. She was starting to go on field trips, and I think it's kind of gone down. But where like the parents would go, I haven't gone to one, but my wife went. Where you get like a couple adults go, and you will go to the back.
It's the best. We would go to like cider farms, or the zoo was a big thing. Parks. You know what I got to see later in as I got older, when I started working at Universal Studios, right? I was a tour guide there for a little bit, then was doing Wolverine, and then I was doing the.
Have you ever been in
Cop.
Universal Studios, which where I shot my special at?
Yes.
But
I was so
right
geeked out when I saw that, man. You probably
right where you were.
Moments away where you could have seen me getting into a fight with the guy who was playing Shrek is where you filmed your next special.
You did it at the highest level, not like there's always like Hollywood. Would you go see those
Hollywood
guys?
Boulevard, where Spider-Man's got like Asics on and peanut butter dripping from his pants.
Yeah,
like,
it's not pretty. But you worked at Universal and you were Wolverine. So you would come out. Someone have to walk out with you, right?
There would be a chaperone security for all the characters, but we would initially pull out all together. It was Captain America, Spider-Man, Storm, and Green Goblin, and myself, and which is just already a weird sense. If I had any sort of a post-work chat with I lived with the guys that were a chef and one worked at AT&T, and we'd be going around and be like, so how was work today? Oh man, this person came in just so furious about the new phone and like couldn't get it to work. And it was just such a pain in the ass. And like, I'm probably going to quit. Like, I'm just over this type of customer service. Other kid, the chef, he's like, yeah, it's just, we're just busy, more busy than normal. I thought it was going to be the slow season, but so I'm happy to be home, man. I was cooking up a storm, but I love what I do. So what about you, Adam? Well, Five-O, Curious George, and SpongeBob, they were on a trolley with a song blasting ooh-ee, ooh-ah-ah, ching-chang, walla-walla, bing-bang. And I got accosted by my boss because I was a New York cop and I was squirting a squirt gun that wasn't from that time period, apparently. And but, so just a regular Tuesday.
Yeah, regular.
And
so you would do more than Wolverine. You would do it.
So I was the last job I did was the New York cop,
Yeah.
which was like not from anything. You're just a beat cop. And they had a chunk of the next to the Blues Brothers stage that was like 1940s New York. So they had a couple people up in the window that would scream down and be like, hey, welcome to New York Street.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, I feel like we're in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
And then they had like a cab there and then like a pizzeria. And but yeah, that whole we'd come out together on these ATVs.
Yeah.
And then we would and by the way, there was not people waiting for us. So we'd come out and people were just kind of like, and then they had us come out together.
Not like a show.
We all zoom out together and then pose.
Yeah.
So we'd come out and then stand up on your thing and go.
Yeah.
And by the way, there's people just like on their maps like, are we supposed to, do we watch this? And then we go. Just take off. And then we would parade around a little area and then stop at one section of the park and take pictures for a while.
Yeah.
So first day working on the ATV, had to even take a little ATV, practice thing. I'm out there in the full suit, just bare minimum facts. I used to joke about this in my act. Kids would be like, what's your favorite food? And I was like, potato salad. Hey, who cares? I'm not the real guy.
Yeah.
And why do I got to know this?
Yeah.
Isn't the sideburns and the fake abs enough for your imagination? And so I would parade along, and I was at the very end. And a kid runs up to me for an autograph and a picture. And I was like, yeah, hurry up. Got to catch up with the gang, And so he's standing real close to me and took the picture and then thought he ran away. He kind of lingered, as you do, with a celeb.
Yeah.
And because we're just, the way they look at you was crazy.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, kids crying, being like, you're my favorite thing in the whole world.
Yeah.
And so I put it into full throttle and take off and feel the wheel just go up and over something. And I was like, oh boy. And then I turn back and I hear, ah! So then I'm like, all right, now I'm just quickly going through my head. What's the move?
Yeah.
And so I went through three options. I go,
what would Wolverine do?
What would he do? And so I was like, all right, do I look at him and go, hey, hang in there, bub, or hey, stuff happens.
Get better soon. I want to see you
get better
back.
soon. I want to see you back here for the same spot, same picture 5 years from now. Or do I like put it in reverse?
Yeah.
Go back over the other foot just for good measure. No. So I couldn't think what to do. I literally just was like frozen. So I did nothing.
Yeah.
But I thought everything while I'm staring at him. So let's recap. Run over his foot, turn back, stare him down, and drive away. To which that gets back, obviously, because whoever the chaperone was also an adult tattletale.
Yeah.
And was like, Adam, right over the kid's foot. And so I'll go into my boss's office. So it's your first day, and this is everyone's. First of all, getting a lot of compliments, like just the voice, your mannerisms. It's just Captain America said you're, so far just his favorite Wolverine to work with. And I'm like, oh, Scott said that.
Yeah.
That's just a guy, right? All right, just making sure. You and I. He drives an Escalade when he leaves work with a bumper sticker that says "Nobody's ugly after 2 a.m." I'm pretty sure that's not his catchphrase. So then. so then she gave me, read me the riot act of as far as like just being more aware.
Just
like,
in general, running over kids. How no one's
Is that wrong?
Yeah.
Yeah, I should have probably, it's assumed don't run over a kid's foot, but just be cautious because they're gonna run up to you and just be, as close as they can to you because you're Wolverine. That's a big deal. And I'm like, yeah, I mean, it's it's pretty. I guess I didn't see the foot, and also it's my first time on these things, and they got a lot of power, and just she gave me a hard time at one point for getting a little. Which I thought I was like probably in the best shape I've been in a minute.
You would have to be in
good they give you the fake abs and like the fake chops and
so you're wearing something.
I'm wearing something, but still you can't be a complete because I've seen the Orlando Wolverine once when I went down there for a friend's like bachelor party thing and we went there and the Wolverine was like Hollywood Boulevard adjacent. Like he was like Crenshaw Wolverine. And just very like, he looked like he was 280. Yeah. And you're like, you got to be in somewhat for the suit to fit.
Yeah, it's a tight suit. And
so she told me to lose weight. She was like, we're going to have you take 5 weeks off so you can hit the gym and go to 24-hour fitness. Yeah. It's like, well, close as that.
Do you get paid good doing that?
Yeah. So it was doing the tour guide was $8 an hour. And then you had to work a handful of hours to get a pay bump. But it was just season.
And that's where you're on the trolley telling them Jaws.
Yeah. And that was awesome because that was like an hour-long show where I'm like running bits, that I would do at the open mics that night. Yeah. And it would have, and would do just stupid stunts and things with the video and would really freak out for the Jaws part, like to where like I made a couple kids cry because I'm fresh out of acting school at SC and I'm like, this is an acting exercise to see if a kid will believe if that's a real shark. But it was
But
fun.
I mean, look, I do love that. Think of all the acting that you have gotten where but you have. Yeah. That stuff is like I'm a big like I love the idea of that you do recognize that you're like, yeah, man, like I got to feel stupid now. You feel stupid doing this, but this is something that will help me.
They weren't wasted reps for sure. I feel like they every day, even as Wolverine, because I would get harassed too from my boss about like being too funny. And that's why the cop thing was the best because it was truly not from anything, and so I could just do and say whatever, and I would be riffing up a storm. And going back to Dave Matthews, he came through the park with his family, and I would always break character to talk to everybody. Greg Maddox had a 10-minute conversation with just about baseball, and he was and Dave Matthews and his family. I'd always go up and do bits and then make them laugh. And Maddox was just slowly eating a cone, just judging me before I even broke character. He was just like, and just watch me like try to make his kids laugh, and then I just pulled him aside. And I was like, hey, dude, you're just one of the best. And he was like, oh, and he goes, can you just do a different voice like that, and it's all right. I was like, yeah, man, this job doesn't mean anything. You're Greg Maddox.
That's such a dude. I'll quit right now. Dude. You're Greg Maddox, dude. Such a weird guy to quit. Like it's a picture from the '90s. It's like he's like, I'm not even doing anything anymore. You're like, dude, if you want me to quit, dude, I'll quit. And you're like,
you just give me the word, dude.
Yeah. You see, no one's coming up to me, right?
You know how many feet I've almost ran over today?
Yeah. Just to get over here.
But it was like the Wolverine was like 23 an hour.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was just flexing that, I guess, performing muscle, but also it's probably why I enjoyed doing like crowd work in my shows. And just also it helped with, I don't know, even podcasting on a certain level, just to get in that, get those reps in of just, I guess, improvising and and getting comfortable with talking with anybody. But there were these groups when we were talking about field trips, they'd get these older kids, probably like high school, right? I don't know if you've heard of these shows. At the Improv, they would be called
prom shows,
teen tours.
We would do prom shows.
Okay,
is that like in that?
Well, teen tour was a thing where they'd get like 40 kids from a certain city. I think upstate New York was a lot of them that I would see. And they do this whole thing was I think like $50,000.
Yeah, it's the Jewish kids, isn't it?
Totally. Yeah.
Wait, is this? Yeah. All right, take it easy, Aaron. Good night.
But you mosh pit with them, huh?
Yeah.
No mosh pits at the bar mitzvahs I went to. Should have been. But they would pay a lot of money.
At noon? Was this like during the day?
No, they were still nighttime shows. But they do Vegas, San Diego, San Fran, and LA. And they'd on a big bus. They'd stay at all these dope hotels, and then they'd be like Legoland, Disneyland, the Improv, Universal, and really just Vegas for, I don't know, the Hooters and
Yeah.
And so they would come to Universal and and just always try to. And that was like the most fun because these kids were like, they were just spunky little, D-bags and trying to like mess with me. Like some of the young kids, like trying to like size me up and like impress like their young girlfriends by like poking fun of me.
Yeah,
And
buying them chocolates and
buying them $40 Mr. Pibbs at Universal. So I would like, that was fun because then I would just like go toe to toe and just roast them in front of these girls and just, and it was awesome because they were just like, I'd be like, oh yeah, let me know when you get that mustache in and hair on your back or whatever. Just
Well, they don't know that a
stuff.
Professional comedian is the
for sure. Greg Maddox is like, this guy sucks.
Just
Make fun of that guy's back hair.
I like that you taking it serious. Like that's when you go to Disney, which is the same idea with Universal with these characters. Like Disney's they take it so serious. That it makes it great, and you're going there as an adult. You're going there, so my daughter believes that these are all real princesses.
Yes,
and so you want that experience. And when you go meet Cinderella and Elsa and all these people, it's like they're so good.
Yeah, they really some of those princesses. They had Princess Fiona at Universal, and I mean, there's different variations of commitment level, but like that was the cool thing was being every day people coming in and being like. You're like, wow, you're part of this person's vacation. That's why I would like to actually chat people up and get to know them a little bit.
Yeah.
And because I was always curious of like, man, you're getting people from all walks of life. Some people that were like, I'd get a guy pull me aside, being like, yeah, I emptied my bank account for this vacay. And so I'm like, oh, pressure. All right, now I gotta. So then I go out of my way to maybe go get some front of the line passes for him or something like that, or pictures with all the Avengers. I'd rally everybody, just things, And then some people were. Just had their season passes and were coming through. And some people would divulge like info to me. This one guy was like giving me a whole rundown after his family sent him off to Waterworld. And he's like, I'm gonna stay here. And there's the one bar in the park and he went to, and he gave me this whole thing. He's like, yeah, he's like, it's my new wife, like my ex-wife. He's like, I'm not technically divorced yet, but like I'm on this vacay. And I'm just like, hey man, the bathroom's over there.
Yeah.
Have you been on the Shrek ride?
Yeah.
Change the subject.
You just got your Wolverine claws scratching your head. You're like, all right, man, I gotta get out of here. Like Waterworld was we filmed the specials, right? Kind of. It was
by the way,
that middle circle.
Yeah, dude. That
we walked by Waterworld.
We're
in between. Universal like the back of your hand if you go.
1,000%.
Like when you take your nieces, like do you still know people there?
Oh yeah, there's some life.
So your nieces and you have nieces and nephews.
One nephew's 5, yeah.
And so like so when you take them, it's like
they haven't been yet. So I'm just we were. April we were gonna do a Disneyland, and then I was trying to find a way to get them to stay maybe a couple other days and crash with us to go to Universal because it's still very kid friendly.
I mean, talk about the uncle of the year.
When
you do get to take them to Universal. Because you're going to just know the fact that you will know everything.
Yeah, that'll be cool.
And then you're going to know, I feel like you're going to...
Being able to know some of the characters to give some preferential treatment.
Yeah.
Was it cool to do it there? Like, I don't know how much connection you have other than it being a cool venue.
I do have a connection with it. I have a joke about claustrophobia, and it happened on the Simpsons ride when all that kind of kicked off.
Oh, that's a real thing on that ride.
Yeah, and so I was able to kind of say that, and we were right next to the Simpsons ride. So I kind of like when sometimes you have a story. I like the idea of, doing this thing in my act where it's like this big thing that I talk about in my act. That's this joke, and be like, I have this joke because of there. Right next to where I'm standing.
That's so great.
And then I remember going to Universal when I would go to LA. The first time I went out there, I'd always stay with friends, but first time I did Conan out there, and I stayed at the Sheridan that was right there or something. And so I always walked around the boardwalk or
City Walk.
Yeah. And I would always walk around the City Walk, and I would do it. I didn't really know anybody in LA. I was coming from New York, and it's when you go to LA thinking you hear everybody goes to LA and has all these meetings.
Yeah.
And then you go there and you don't.
Yeah.
And so then you're there in a hotel and you are there for 3 days longer than you should be. And sometimes it can get depressing because you're like, some people are doing meetings, you have nothing going on. And so I'd always walk around City Walk. A lot of times would stay at that Sheridan. Yeah. Or the Hilton, and I would just I could go walk up there. I could go eat. It was easy to walk up there and eat. I kind of liked that. I was in this little area. There's a lot of people around.
Yeah,
and I enjoyed it.
Bubble.
So that was a big deal to me for shooting that special there, because that's where I would go and be. I would be at that hotel and be miserable, and then not miserable, but I enjoyed.
Yes.
It meant a lot to me to walk.
You remember
around there.
those feelings of
you remember those
feelings you remember
around there.
those feelings of
I wish I had something
hoping
to do.
it was
yeah.
better and
just going every night, just walking there alone.
Wow.
Yeah.
Would you write on did you have would you go to the subway and
Yeah, I would. I've never been a writer like that.
Yeah.
So, but I would just go walk around. I'd go eat there. I'd go I would go into the stores. I could walk around for hours on City Walk and just, it's not even I went to Universal. I just would go walk on City Walk.
That's so
And
cool.
so it was like, I do have an attachment to that place.
That's
just
extra
because of that.
special.
Yeah, it was extra special.
When does
was
it
very
come out,
cool.
by the way? I'm sure you've touched on this,
You know what?
but don't know yet.
When do we think? No,
It may be out by the time this.
no,
comes
it
out.
won't be because I think I know the date. I think March. We don't know for sure, but I think March. This will come out. If people are hearing this, we recorded early. But I think this is coming out February 17th.
This is
And yeah,
great.
and then March is when the special will come out.
Great.
Yeah.
I'm so pumped.
So
man.
yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited.
Is there something about this is your fifth? Sixth?
Overall special.
Yeah.
This is for hours. This is my third hour.
Cool.
And then I've done a half hour, and then
Yep.
I've done 2.5 hours.
Yep.
So it'll be 4 hours total of stand up and an album.
Is it even fair to ask where it ranks or how it compares? Or is it almost like when people go Mike or LeBron and you're like different eras, different time, different material, but just hearing your sentiments and the attachment to it, I feel like it's got to be carry a little
it's up
more
there.
weight.
It's going to be one that's remembered more because it was shot during this pandemic, and it was. So I was very happy to.
Wait, the what?
COVID. Yeah. I'm here. You same. Yeah. No.
What's that?
Yeah. It's like a cold.
Scene. Okay.
Yeah.
sorry.
Scene. And scene. That's a great. It is very funny. Just always act like you don't know. Like if someone you do that in the Uber.
Yeah, dude, I used to do that all the time.
Yeah.
There was one kid, I think it started when my folks split when I was 9, and a kid told me who knew my folks that they got back together.
Yeah.
And I was at recess, and I believed it.
Yeah.
And so I went home being like, Mom, awesome. She's like, what? And I was like, you and Dad figured it out.
Yeah.
No?
Yeah.
Oh. And then go back to school and I think I started messing with people after that.
Yeah.
Because I was like, oh, that felt awful.
Yeah.
But I was like, oh, I'm very gullible. I wonder if people
Other
are
people are.
But I wouldn't do that was pretty, that was a deep
I love
cut.
that kid would hear it before her own son would
And
hear
I
it.
believe
Yeah.
that.
It's like, where you got a good source on this? He's like, pretty decent source.
Yeah.
Yeah, your dad's
Dad-
back in the picture.
Yeah.
So what about Washington?
Yeah.
Let's get some facts about
I
Washington.
got a lot of
DC.
questions for
Oh,
you.
please.
Yeah, we got a lot of
I
Washington.
love that you've left Steve Pull up, by the way. That's very
Well, he's
I'm
retired.
on board.
He's
with-
retired. 40
40
years, man.
is that crazy? 40 years of just Doppler radars and photosynthesis.
You get a good weatherman, it's hard to let them go, and people like to see their weatherman. Like you feel more confident.
Yeah,
going.
trust 'em.
I trust. Let's leave him alone, and then he'll let us know.
The weather, though, for most times in Seattle was like, you're like,
Yeah.
all right. And weather in general, I feel like when they're
Is
showing
it 30% chance of rain every day?
yeah. And when they put up like a picture of a son wearing sunglasses, I'm like, if you can't see that and like decipher for yourself what type of wardrobe to put on,
Yeah.
do you really need a guy to like spell it out for you after that? But I think you're right. It's the personal touch, right?
It's
Yeah.
it's comforting.
And he's got a cool weather name. I feel like
Yeah.
it's almost like with athletes, like
Steve Poole. Yeah.
Poole.
come on.
Yeah.
Or maybe he made his name cool. I don't know.
He's trying to be in
Let's
the
talk
pool
about it more.
business. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Did you ever have tornadoes west of the Rockies?
No.
You remember? Do you have earthquakes? You feel out earthquakes?
Earthquakes. Had a couple in
Yeah.
high school that were crazy. One I remember watching a Sonics game
Yeah.
when I was in the downstairs and the
So
Rain Man
you
had
guys
a
grew up
crazy
on the
dunk.
downstairs. Wow.
Yeah,
You
but I
come from
mean,
money. So you come from money. is
I
what we're getting
mean,
at. You had it upstairs
no.
and downstairs.
When my folks were together, yeah, and then
Yeah.
when we moved into another, also
Your
room was
dad
cheap.
moved upstairs and your mom stayed downstairs.
Hilarious.
And so,
Per my friend at school told me that.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
He goes,
I thought he was out of the house.
what I hear is your dad's going to live upstairs and your mom will be downstairs. You're like, wow, dude. Like,
all right,
all
it's a
right,
compromise.
yeah, that's good.
So I basically got 2 playrooms.
Yeah.
No, there's earthquakes. Decent. I'd say like there was probably 3 that I remember living through.
Yeah.
Tornadoes, no. When I would go visit my grandparents in Oklahoma,
I mean, that's the.
tornado warnings every other 10 minutes. I felt like there's like go to like every 10 minutes there was the beep and then the under the ticker of like get to a shed or a bunker ASAP or or a Carl's, or a Hardee's, like go to the
yeah.
Hardee's drive-thru, and you're like,
Now,
just advertise. They trying to advertise during a tornado. It's
Yeah.
a bold move.
swing through, run to any Hardy's bathroom,
Yeah.
and hide.
Hardee's
maybe.
bathroom, but before that bathroom, get the new Steak and Shake.
Yeah.
Get the new double-decker cheeseburger. Yeah. So and the Quakes were always like decent. There was one that was like a 5 something or a 6.5 that was like a pretty good rim shaker.
Yeah.
Like you felt it. And then one at school where I remember getting under the tables, and I remember again, like you just follow blindly those types of rules. And I remember we all went out to a field after. There was a bomb scare the same day as an earthquake, where you're just like, I felt like your buddy on the edge, being like, "Let me just jump into the ocean."
Yeah.
And because this day was not meant for any of us. And the bomb scare wasn't as crazy because we were all out on the field, and everyone's just like business as usual. Like waiting for the school to blow up.
What if someone
joking,
comes,
being like, "Hey, I hope, then we get the summer off."
What's a good goal? We're talking about being goal, but if a teacher they made up the bomb scare and they're in the field, and then someone just runs out of the school, and they go, "Turns out the bomb's in the field. Everybody back to school," and then you're like, "No!" And then everybody has to leave the field.
Whoa!
And you're like, "I didn't know." He's
Didn't
like,
think about that. Yeah. What if because they just hear bomb and they go, "Everybody get out."
Mhm.
It's like maybe we should locate where it is.
Yeah, they don't tell you.
Go to the field. That's actually right where it is. But
I don't know if I ever had a bomb scare.
We did.
Really?
Yep. When we go out and the kids say the
Was
same
it
thing.
dynamite?
I hope it's real.
I hope it's real.
Was it a dynamite
so
scare? He's older, so they use dynamite more back then.
love that. Looney Tune.
They're building the railroads.
They're building the railroads. And, guys, there's a TNT box over here, and you're like, "Is there?"
Acme.
Yeah.
When Sputnik went up, y'all were doing.
Are you taking away my mic?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I was trying to.
Yeah.
What
This
else?
is
Turn
it.
my
Right.
mic away from us.
What else you got?
This
So
is
natural
This
disasters.
is Aaron's best day,
Yeah.
No.
This is all from Wikipedia, so you can tell
Oh,
me
please.
what's wrong.
Yeah.
Approximately 60% of Washington's residents live in the Seattle metro area, which
Believe that.
consists of Seattle, Tacoma, and Bellevue.
Sure.
Yeah.
Bellevue's like the nicer part of town. Lake Forest Park, where I grew up, is like a decent, quiet suburb. Worked at the
Bellevue was very.
Albertsons.
They had a comedy club there.
They did. Parlor.
That's where the parlor is. It closed.
Both of them, the downtown and the Bellevue.
Yeah.
one.
So the Bellevue one. Last time I was there, Tacoma Comedy Club. Tacoma's a great comedy club.
Great.
And they're that's where my dead horse story came from. Was
Yes.
Tacoma.
I was supposed to do that in a couple
yeah.
weeks, but
Yeah.
they're not at the proper phase yet to get stuff going, which
yeah,
stinks.
it's I love Tacoma Comedy Club, and they have I had great jokes where their streets, it goes up a hill, like every street is
Yeah.
just a hill,
Yeah.
and so every block you have to walk straight
Yeah.
up a hill.
A lot of Seattle's very hilly.
Yeah, and so I mean you're walking there, and I think I had a joke about there's a lot of homeless people sleeping on the sidewalk, and it's like, but it's just people that are so tired that they get up one block and they go, "I'm gonna sleep here, then I'll try to get up
Oh, yeah.
eventually to my house."
That horse story crushed. I remember when
Yeah.
you were at the Paramount with Rock. You did it.
Yeah,
I want to say that was like pretty fresh too,
It was very fresh then
because I
Yeah.
remember
Yeah.
complimenting it and you being like, "Yeah, it's still working it out or whatever." I was like, "Oh,
Yeah.
cool. That must be."
That was my with Paul Allen was at that show. That's when I went
No
to
way.
Yeah, so I knew Paul Allen. And
What?
yeah, and then I did a show for him at this big private cruise. It was in the whole insane. I've talked about it on this podcast before, but a crazy corporate gig I did. And then we met him, and he was the nicest man ever.
Of course.
And so I told him like we were in town, and I was like, we're with Chris Rock. And then so he came. It was funny, as I remember after the show, we get done, we all walk upstairs, and then he just comes in the elevator, like
course.
with Chris. Because it's like, I mean, dude, he's a billionaire. So it's like he just goes. I mean, when he
ran Seattle.
ran, yeah, and he's and when someone got that much money, dude, like they have more money than these cities, they go. We would,
Right.
with the cruise that we went on, we'd go to countries. He would have more money than that country, so he has to have Secret Service type security. But we went to the Seahawks game with him
That Sunday.
Yeah, Chris didn't go, but we went and we sat in his box with him, and they honored him for 20 years of owning the team.
That was that.
That was that day. I was in the box with. So they gave him the award on the field, and then he came up and sat, and we all just sat there and watched the game with him. And I talked to him for a little bit.
That's
then
amazing.
he was like, you would talk to him. He's the guy that you would talk to, and you feel like you're like, all right, I need to probably walk away.
Yeah, wrap
And then
it
he
up.
would keep talking to you, and you're like, oh, do you want me to stay?
You don't
Like,
want to overstay your welcome.
Yeah,
Like,
you're
I got
just-
these chocolates. If you want
Yeah,
to split
his
them.
family is wonderful, and like his sister, and they're
runs the
just
team now, yeah.
yeah. They're all very nice, and like so I'd always talk to them more than him. But he was super fun guy. You could really have a lot of fun with him.
Would he comment on any jokes or ask comedy questions?
Yeah, he would. I mean, on that cruise, he would bring up something. I forget we went something. He's like, I know this isn't a Walmart, but I hope it's good enough for you. Like, he's making a funny joke about that.
The attempt,
yeah.
I love.
Yeah.
Because you're like, you got so much money, he's probably
Walmart,
got riders for him for that cruise.
Yeah.
And maybe somebody did give him that Walmart
He
line.
almost, so on this cruise, there's only 200 people on it, but he had his big yacht. That his gigantic yacht, there was like a famous yacht that he had.
Wow.
And he had it behind, he almost brought it to travel behind the cruise ship. Because he can get he's like an introvert, right? He doesn't want, it can become everything can become a lot.
He wanted an escape room.
Yeah. And so he almost was like, well, I might want off this cruise ship. By the way, it was 1,500 people could be on this ship, and there was only 200. And so it's like, there's a lot of room.
So he had a helicopter too. By the way,
the octopus? Is that what it was called?
The ultimate Irish goodbye, getting on a helicopter and just bouncing from your own party.
Yeah.
Like
did I ever tell the story with Derek Trucks? So I met Derek Trucks, Tedeschi Trucks band, his wife, Tedeschi, and then Derek Trucks. Derek Trucks is a child prodigy with guitar. He was in the Allman Brothers at 13. And his uncle was in the Allman Brothers, and he's a phenom, and just could do this out of the gate. And he's one of the I think he's about our age. I'm 41, so you're 38. He's probably in the middle of us.
Yeah.
And he was already ranked top 10 greatest guitarist of all time. He's that good. And so him and Paul, and they all became really he was doing these kind of stuff with Paul for a long time. So they'd go to every Super Bowl with Paul. And he goes down one time when they're in Miami or somewhere when the Super Bowl is. And so Paul's like, come down. And this is when Paul was going through his first like chemo and cancer. So it was like really tough. And so they come down and hang out, and he brings his son. It was just him and his son could come. And they go, and then Paul's like, there's another guy coming with his kid. And, y'all can just hang out a lot. Because Paul was kind of hanging out, but he was going through cancer. And
right.
So he'd have to back away. And so they goes, all right, that's cool, man. And so the other guy that comes is Brad Pitt. So it's Brad Pitt and his kid. So Derek had no idea. So Derek's just now hanging out with Brad Pitt and his son, and they're just all on this big yacht, octopus yacht. And so they're doing a shuttle launch too during that weekend. So Paul goes, hey, do y'all want to go see the shuttle launch? And they're like, yeah, man, that'd be cool. So so they get on the helicopter on the boat. They fly to a plane.
Yes.
And then just fly in the air to watch the shuttle launch from the air.
Wow.
So it wasn't like, oh, we're going to go over to where it's at. No, we're going to watch it as it goes by us.
Yeah.
And it was just like such a crazy, all right, crazy, such a wild trip. But he was like that kind of guy that liked the cruise he wanted all these people it was high tech people that would invent all these, some guys are other billionaires on the guy. I remember that your phone zooms in and out with your fingers.
That guy was there.
That guy was there after a show. I do the show, and then I do a show, and we get done, and the guy's talking to me. He's like, typical after a show, like, great show, and you're like, I appreciate it, man, but And then one of the girls that works for Paul was like, hey, just so you know, she's like, that's the reason your phone zooms in and out is that guy. That guy made that. And you're like, oh, that's cool.
That's this guy.
This guy.
Do you feel pressure to then go back and be like, dude, thank you. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like to really.
Oh, to really.
Because
he would have more than me.
I'm using it right now, man.
Yeah, you're zooming in and out. I mean, they had. I mean, Stevie Wonder was also one of the performers on this.
Oh wow!
I mean, it was a ton of really famous people, but it was cool to be on it because what he did is he wanted to give these people a normal experience. You want to go see a cruise ship? I'll give you. And we did Harry Shearer was on it. Like we hung out with him.
Awesome.
And then so we would go. You would go just do a typical it was a cruise ship vacation, but with these gigantic famous people.
Wait, so you were performing on this?
I performed on it, and then it went good. So they asked us to stay, me and my wife, to stay the rest, for 9 more days.
Were you nervous for an eclectic group of people? Were you like, dude, he might take this away from my phone if I bomb or like?
Yeah. Well, so I didn't really meet everybody before. We kind of saw them here and there.
Better that way.
And then, I mean, we're definitely seeing these celebrities.
Hey, the Handy Snacks guys here.
Well, me and Derek Trucks kind of hit it off, and with his wife, and Laura, my wife. And so it was funny. Is me and Derek Trucks are in the South China Sea on a yacht with all these people talking about the Jaguars and Titans.
Awesome.
Which no one, because he's a big Jags fan. You're like, dude, there's no one in Nashville talking about this matchup. Like nobody cares about. But the experience was unreal. And then after I did the show, it's like then everybody's like, oh, I know what where they're like, oh, I get it. You're very funny. So then you're just hanging out with everybody. And
Because I saw
Quentin Tarantino was there.
Oh,
Very funny. So I had to
goodness.
do another show again, which I might have explained all this before. I can't remember. But I did another show again. And Quentin Tarantino came out. And right when I got off stage, he came out of the bathroom and he's like, how'd it go? And that was his joke as he watched the show.
Yeah.
But it's very funny to
Very
be like,
funny.
oh, how'd it go, man? I missed it. And
Yeah,
you're like,
yeah,
well, it went pretty good. He's like, I'm just kidding. I was out there. It was great. Very funny.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is, man, that's why this, so one time me and Captain America and, no, I'm joking. But that the inventions of the things you don't think about.
Yeah.
There's a kid in my fraternity at USC that had a house party at his house, and we're driving up through the neighborhood, and it's like, he's like, yeah, Shaq lives over there, Denzel's over there. And this is like, I haven't been around any, accosted Larry King at the movie theater like a month prior.
Yeah.
Where he was with his nephew, and they were at the snack machine, and I was a little stony baloney. And I was like, hey, Larry, big fan. And he was like, oh, thanks. And I was like, you getting some snacks? Just lingering. Shouldn't have said anything. But in my head, I was like, I got to say something. You don't.
Yeah.
And so he was like, I'm with my nephew. Do you mind? And I was like, I just got interviewed by Larry King. Not at all. And my buddy pulled me away. But so that was my only encounter up until that point.
That's such I'm with my nephew. Do you mind?
Yeah.
Like, and you're just going, do you have anything? Snacks?
Didn't know when to pull out of the story or the moment. And so we're driving up this hill, and it's becoming very apparent that money is not an issue for the people that live in this area. So his house is bonkers. And couple screening rooms, closets with multiple guitars, like probably 30 in each closet, and a big guest house, just bowls of cigarettes at every station. And finally, I'm like, yo, Miles, what does your dad do? He's like, oh, you know that thing for the batteries? You do that to test if the battery like has any juice left? I go, yeah. He's like, that. And I was like, what? He's like, no, not that. Do you know the game of cricket? I was like, no, I'm joking. It was the battery thing. The battery thing. But I never think about that guy.
Yeah. And that guy is crushing it.
Yeah. But like, I wish my brain worked in that way where I saw those small.
Yeah, you always think it's just a company that probably it just kind of slowly evolved, but it sounds like it was just one dude that just kind of invented it. And,
one dude, he probably had a team, but maybe not.
Maybe I'm sure he did it when he came up with the idea.
I want to come up with a snack that just changes the game, but I don't know what that is. I feel like every year there's and it doesn't even need to be healthy, just something that's so.
I mean, you're dipping Pop-Tarts in Cool Whip. You said
maybe Pop-Tarts
that's
flavored
pretty
Cool Whip?
innovative.
Or Cool Whip flavored Pop-Tarts.
Yeah.
Okay, based on Nate saying nervously 3 times, that's not really going to push me through to the prototype stage of the business.
Look, I think the audience would love you to hear more spitballing.
I got to read the room better.
Yeah. Like Larry, I feel like Larry King over here. Hey, do you mind? I'm with my nephew.
Let's get some more Washington facts.
I do love his response. Do you mind for your nephew? Oh, I got interviewed by Larry. It's a very funny.
He chuckled when I said that too.
Yeah.
I'll never forget that because that was like.
He's like, that's got to be good. He gets it. He's like,
he's got a great sense of humor.
Yeah.
And I didn't feel as because I remember obviously I still felt very embarrassed and that I was giving him a hard time or whatever. But seeing him chuckle, I was like, okay, cool. That wasn't a complete bomb of a moment.
Yeah.
All right.
What's some more Washington facts?
Mount Rainier is the 3rd tallest mountain in the U.S.
I believe it.
And then let's keep going. One day, what is the joke? Yeah, one day.
It doesn't have the energy of a 1 or 2.
Mount St. Helens, when it erupted, it was the largest landslide in recorded history.
Yeah.
How did you feel about that when that happened?
Can't stop thinking about it.
Yeah. It was a big day.
It was a big day. What day
was it? The same day as the bomb day?
It was 1980. So before you were born. Right?
2 years before.
Yeah. Do you think was your mom? Did she always bring it up?
Always brings it up. She's like, she's like,
Mount St. Helen.
Yeah, actually.
Yeah, you're lucky to be alive now because we had Mount St. Helen.
Yeah, I do remember hearing about it in maybe it was just a day of school where it was like Seattle history and seeing footage of it. Pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Definitely made me never want to go.
I mean, 57 people were killed.
Yeah, I mean, it's such a thing. This feels like it happens in the middle of nowhere. You don't think it's happening in one of our major cities?
Well, it wasn't in Seattle, but
okay. I don't know. Like I'll be honest with you. I don't know where Mount St.
It's pretty deep south.
I forgot we're doing all Washington. I thought this was a Seattle
downtown.
thing. Yeah.
I remember.
Is this near the Beatles Hotel? This Mount St. Helens?
Right at the base is where the hotel. I mean, it definitely made me go, oh, I never want to. I don't know, climb a mountain.
47 people died. I mean, how many people die on a normal volcano blast?
47 to me is enough. Like even when
57.
people 57?
Yeah.
Still a significant number. Like when people got, I think there was like 3 people that got E. coli from, was it Jack in the Box back in the day? That was enough for me to be like, cool, I guess I'm a Wendy's guy now.
Yeah.
But it was like, oh, just get the fries.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
And then, filling, adding some jokes and improv stuff.
Yeah.
What's the next quote we got?
Washington. Do Mount St. Helen again.
The state is typically divided politically by the Cascade Mountains. Western Washington's liberal, Eastern Washington's conservative. But since Seattle's in Western Washington, the state always votes liberal.
Y'all should meet at the top of the Cascade Mountains and hash it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about up there is where all the libertarians are? They're like, we don't think anybody should be involved in anything. And it's just one ridge.
Yeah. It's pretty Eastern Washington, yeah. I mean, I don't know. I feel like it
You feel that way?
Yeah, I guess I don't.
You ever met a conservative?
Oh yeah. So
there is conservatives that, yeah.
I think so. Yeah,
I think you think of Seattle like
it's very
super
progressive.
Yeah.
It is. And yeah, for sure. I mean,
it took over part of the town, so
totally.
That's a good
lot
sign.
of people letting you merge on the freeway. That's always a good sign.
Yeah.
No state has gone longer without a Republican governor than Washington.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, look, we were the first to legalize pot.
What do you guys say about that?
We
you guys are you're
assisted
you're
suicide?
ahead of the game.
Yeah, one of the euthanasia, one of the first, right?
Yeah.
I usually
Encourage
know
suicide is the next step. As you start seeing commercials going, hey, can you
Why
not get through this? Maybe then maybe call it a day.
Don't fear the Reaper, dude.
Don't feel the Reaper. That's playing underneath it.
I usually find out about or learn of how conservative someone is if they try to pitch me a joke after a show, despite where it is.
Yeah.
I think I was in Ohio, and this guy was like, he's like, I liked all that Jew stuff. I mean, it was literally one bit, but it was significant enough for you to remember
like
it
his
as
Jewish
that.
commentary earlier.
Yes, yeah.
That's what the track on the album's called.
Yeah,
Jew stuff.
Yeah. It's easy. Just spell it out for him. So he goes.
He talks a lot about jackets, though. Like it's still. He goes, doesn't even make
Jewish
sense.
jackets. Yeah. So he goes. What's a Jewish dilemma? And I was like, first he asked, he's like, I got a joke for you if you want to use that. I was like, I'm good, man. He goes, what's a Jewish dilemma? So I was like, I don't know if you're, And I go, what? He goes, a free ham sandwich. And so I gave him like I can see, no laughter. And he was like, right? I was like, no, I didn't laugh, And then he was like, you can have that. And
thanks, man.
Yeah. And so
he said, what's a Jewish dilemma? You should have said this.
Where were you, Nate?
I know. I just pop up around the corner and you're like, hey, how long you been here? I'm like, dude, I come here every week because that guy asks everybody.
The largest building in the world by volume is in Everett, Washington, the Boeing factory.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's crazy. 98.7 acres.
Huge.
God, it's a building? What's in it? Oh, Boeing.
Yeah, they build airplanes.
I guess you do need a big.
You gotta make it pretty big.
Everett, Washington, home to the first nightclub I went to. I don't think it's there anymore. Also home to my brother-in-law, Tim, rapper name Dirte. Look him up.
Yeah. That's your brother-in-law?
Yep.
Is the rapper?
Yes.
Oh, wow. And he lives in Irving.
And I love how you said the rapper like you'd already heard of him. You just say he's a white,
I've never even heard of Boeing. So it's
Everett's it's on the up and up.
Yeah.
I don't think most people would guess that's the largest building.
That's a big building, man.
That's big.
I'd guess it was up there.
Yeah, but I mean, you think about tallest, but no, that's the largest.
Right. Everett, here's Everett.
In the world?
Yeah.
Wow.
Here's Everett. You're like, you were like, oh, the Beatles stayed at the first hotel in downtown Seattle. Everett's got a hotel where you're like, oh, I think like, the Bare Naked Ladies stay there. It's like that type of. Which no knock on the Bare Naked Ladies. There's probably a better.
Aaron, do you want to defend Bare Naked Ladies?
Defend real quick.
Are you upset about it? Yeah.
No, I like the parakeet.
You go, all right, dude.
We
don't
have the
take-
same taste of music, dude.
We
I
do.
think.
Yeah, well, you're really trying to come around now after that tip.
By the
You're
way-
gonna start liking everything. You're like, that hat's awesome, man. I'd love to buy a hat. You just dress like Adam the next
I
five.
mean, yeah. I don't know
year,
about that. Yeah, you're doing fine.
Yeah,
I'm dressed like a kid who was guest starring on like Boy Meets World, but then halfway through they rewrote the scene. And they go, "We're actually
I think
not
you're
going to shoot
dressed-
your part today." And I was like, "Oh, cool." They're like, "But there's a Nickelodeon game show you can be a contestant on
yeah.
because that
I think you're just like you walked in a restaurant. And they said you got to wear a collar, and you go, "Well, do you have a shirt?" They go, "Yeah," and then they give you that.
Wait,
shirt.
these are the equivalent of emergency clothes. Did you
Yeah,
ever have
yeah,
that
he
at your
goes-
elementary school where you would fall in the mud
Yeah,
or
yeah.
poo yourself?
Yeah.
And or both and say it was mud and then they go, well, here's, or if you forgot your lunch, they would give you emergency lunch, which was half drink milk and like a grilled cheese that was a week old.
Yeah,
And it wasn't cheese. They were like, it was just melted chocolate, but it's bright now.
yeah.
And so the clothes were always like, I had to do it twice, and it was a purple purple turtleneck and black sweatpants. I would never wear that.
yeah.
And so not only do I have to come back from recess and lunch in that, I got to wear it the rest of the day and wear it home.
Yeah.
And I remember, I mean,
You might as well just go, well, let's just announce it on the loudspeaker. It's the same thing.
and everyone knows it's emergency clothes. You
Yeah.
hope, or
Yeah.
everyone's just like, oh, I guess he just wasn't feeling what he came to
I-
school with.
Yeah.
And he wanted to mix it up. Maybe he's trying to get
Where'd you
Jennifer
go
to take
change
that bear. You
In the
know?
locker room in third grade, you went to the.
Yeah, why you dressed like a concert pianist?
All
We can edit that out. Go ahead.
Yeah.
What's the next
One too many, but that's all right.
Of the four major North American sports, baseball, basketball, football,
yeah.
hockey, the Mariners have the longest playoff drought.
Yeah. of
2001.
never. Yeah.
Last time they went to the playoffs.
Yeah, and the only team now, I think, in baseball or professional sports to not make it to, well, the only baseball team to not make it to the World Series after the Nationals
Yeah.
won.
Is Ken Griffey, so he's the most loved.
Oh,
And
yeah.
then Ichiro, though, he's got to be up there.
Very
right?
beloved.
Yeah.
Each, I mean,
Edgar Martinez.
Edgar just
Ra-
got in
Randy
the Hall of Fame.
Johnson.
Yeah.
Still
Randy
is-
Johnson,
Randy
I love.
Johnson,
Even though
yeah.
Randy Johnson screamed at myself and a bunch of other kids when we ran at his Bronco at spring training in 1995, trying to get some
You
autographs.
ran into it.
Ran up to his. He pulled
ran
out.
up
All
to
the
it.
players
Yeah.
post practice would pull up,
Yeah.
and it was kind of a known thing. Yeah, you run up, but kids, there was about probably 50 of us deep,
Yeah.
just charged. And he goes, back away from my car. I'll never forget it. That's not an impression or an over-exaggeration of a 6'10" beast screaming at children to back away from his vehicle. Literally, the window was down. We came running. Didn't even know fully what he said because his diction was bad.
Yeah.
But it was the equivalent of a fastball verbally. And everyone backed away.
Yeah.
A lot of kids needed emergency
that's
clothes,
so funny.
and I just stuck my ball in his face. So I was
Yeah.
the first one to get an
Yeah.
autograph, and I still have it because everyone literally backed away to where I was like, yoink, and he was like, one at a time. What's your name? I was like, oh, you just put your name.
Yeah.
That's how autographs work. I'll put Steve Poole. All right. Anybody want this ball?
You got a Steve Poole baseball signed by Randy Johnson.
Oh man, I wish
That would be
wish That was the
amazing.
case.
That's there's got to be a lot of celebrities that tell stories, and it's you. Like you have, like Larry King's got his story. Like, how's your fan interactions? Larry King, Steve Poole,
Yeah.
Randy Johnson,
Greg Maddox.
Greg
Greg
Maddox.
Maddox.
I mean, they all have some crazy. I met this one guy once, and it's all.
Dude, that's
What if it comes?
how do I get a special built around
Would be
those guys
amazing
telling
if you could if we could somehow find out if they remember any of those stories.
and get sound bites, even if they don't.
Even if they don't,
No.
but it's like the idea that if all of them had one and they all remembered it, and I mean,
And it's
it would-
not the way it went, or do you want it to line
No,
up?
no, I want it to line up, but I'm just saying, like, it's just funny to be. I mean, it kind of shows like you're at where you're at, where you're like you were memorable, like you have a funny story with all
If
these
Greg
people.
Maddox like, yeah, this guy
Steve
wouldn't leave my
Poole.
kids alone.
Greg Maddox, I would almost think remembers that. Randy Johnson could have probably yelled it. He
I bet-
yelled that
look,
before.
I was not the first kid
Yeah.
that month he yelled at.
No, he yelled them all. Larry, which sadly we would never
Yeah.
know, but Larry King would, I bet, could remember that. That was because it was such a funny, unique kind of thing.
Totally.
At the movies with his nephews, he
Gotta laugh.
Yeah, and Greg Maddox, I think would.
Wow.
Steve Poole, I think he's like, dude, I handed out. I mean,
You think you're
100
special? You think you're the first fat
Yeah.
Jewish kid I gave a headshot to?
Yeah.
Seahawks fans set a sports record for loudest crowd noise during a Monday Night Football game.
Yeah.
137.6 decibels.
On the Beastquake, right? On Marshawn Lynch's epic run.
Now, this says it was a Monday Night Football game.
Mm.
September 2013.
Yeah. All right, well, thanks for having me on, guys.
Yeah. Hey, are you really from there?
That's what does it for you. Yeah, that place gets loud. I remember Bill Burr give me a hard time once about, he's like, you guys like built the stadium to have it be louder? You like pumping crowd noise in there? And I was like, I mean, it's just loud. People get fired about the team. The seats are like built to like absorb noise.
Yeah. Well, that's what everybody thinks. That it's built.
It might have been. Paul Allen
it's designed.
I think it does like.
It's designed
acoustically to trap all the sound.
Yeah.
Well, you're in a music city. We're all about the acoustics. The 12th man. It's real.
Yeah, it's not about the sound going up and out. It is to make it be louder.
Yes.
Yeah.
Gonzaga University is based in Spokane. Has the number one team in college basketball.
Yeah,
went there.
It's crazy.
I was there
you were.
Well, so my buddy's brother is Mike Nielsen, and he was on the team in '95 that went to the, I think, grade 8 or the Sweet 16. Yeah. But the farthest Gonzaga,
that was the biggest.
It put Gonzaga on the map. It was Matt Santangelo, Richie Fromm, Casey Calvary.
Was that before Adam Morrison?
Yes.
Okay.
It's what paved the way for Adam Morrison and Dan Dickow and just all those greats. And so I went to senior night at Gonzaga. It was crazy because it was their last game. It was before that run, which put them on the map and was a big deal in Washington State, all over, really.
Changed everything. I mean, Gonzaga was... I've never heard of Gonzaga. No one's ever heard of Gonzaga. And now Gonzaga's a top school in the country. Did they win?
They've never won it all.
Not yet.
No, they've just had player on player that's changed.
They went to the finals one year.
Yeah, Adam Morrison's year, right?
Yeah.
I thought they won a couple years ago against North Carolina.
Boy, what a look at this guy, man. I mean, how do you be? This is why sports. There is just no guarantee in any of these businesses because what a college career. Couldn't even. There's guys you could probably think of that go, oh man, they made a splash for a couple seasons, and either injuries got in the way or off court troubles. I don't think he also got drafted by
a big payday.
Yeah. Did he really?
Yeah, I mean, because he was drafted, I think, early, and
but by the
Charlotte.
Lakers. Oh no, he
I
traded.
thought he went to Charlotte, and then he got. Did he? I don't remember.
Mm-hmm.
But
Jordan picked him. Yeah, maybe.
I want to say, and then he went from there.
Boy, Randy.
Yeah.
I mean,
a lot
I love
of
that you have those pictures back to back. I feel like
mustache.
See, Adam Morrison is what should have happened to me after I got screamed at outside the van. His long hair, mustache, don't care.
Yeah.
I'm actually surprised I turned out, halfway decent after getting just scolded.
I mean, I think you're very positive.
Yeah.
And so that's.
So I probably looked at everybody being like, guys, he's having a bad day.
Everybody, I mean, Randy Judge was lucky that you were one of the kids. That could probably calmed everybody down. Y'all might have mobbed and flipped struck him.
I mean, I think that's what he thought was going to happen.
The strength of 50 kids is a lot.
It really is.
Yeah.
Don't doubt 50 kids.
Don't doubt 50 kids
together anyway.
With their mind together. They got one goal. One guy yelled at them. So their main goal is to end that guy's driving.
I just had this flash of you as a motivational speaker, but you only speak to groups of 50 kids.
Yeah.
So you're like, I'll tell you the power of 50.
Movements. Yeah. Power of 50. I'm starting movements with kids.
Power of 50.
But most of the kids are like, look, Nate, you're great at speaking. We get the message, but at any given point, there's not going to be 50 of us together.
Yeah. And I go, then this was a waste of my time. And I'm only going to talk to kids that are willing to travel in packs of 50.
Yeah, willing to.
They'll never be stopped.
Yeah.
Eastern Washington plays on a red field. And the only red field.
That feels like one we could have skipped over. What's the next one?
Yeah, I mean, we always have a few.
Yeah,
you know that vaccines cure people? We've said that before. And we asked if animals have ever invented something. We've asked
that I would love a follow-up to.
Yeah. Well,
you don't think that's interesting? They play on a red field?
Yeah, I do think
Did you know the field's named after a guy you know?
Who?
Michael Roos. From the Titans.
Really? Oh, really?
Roos Field. Michael Roos donated $500,000.
It is
because he
I
played
know Michael Roos.
Yeah. So there you go.
Pullman. This is Washington State. Oh, Eastern Washington. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, they've got a.
It still feels like something you should have told me after the show, and I would have been like, "Oh, that's cool, man."
Yeah, like one of those throwaway facts.
All right.
That is a cool field. Boise is blue and they're red.
Yeah.
All right, we've talked about it too much. I'm trying to now stretch it out. Now going,
it's cool. It's one of those things that doesn't.
Man, they have a track around it. I've never seen that except every field ever.
Now, what would be your follow up if you were let's say you're at a barbecue and somebody brought that up, right? The way that we just were on the receiving end of, and you felt the inadequacy of like, oh boy, what a weird fact, but I don't want to make this guy feel bad. Let me piggyback on it.
Yeah.
Act super interested. What would you ask? Like, I wonder if it's tough for them to see. Like, what would you?
I would be like, I think the burgers are done, and then I would just get us into. I'd get into a different pack.
Yeah. Focus on the food. Yeah.
All right, let's get some. That'll be interesting. Washington has more Bigfoot sightings than any state in the country.
Okay.
By far.
There
it is. There's the map.
Yeah.
676.
And
no one's even close.
I mean,
California's second.
Come on,
it's much bigger.
And this is where I just go, all right, like let's tone down some of the progressiveness and the weed smoking. Like,
this is the other side of the Cascade Mountains.
I mean, there's a
We're
lot
big
of like,
Bigfoot fans here.
Are you really?
Yeah. So you're going there.
I think there's a lot of guys being
you don't believe
like,
in Bigfoot.
There's a lot of guys out there looking for Bigfoot being like, you ever heard, hey, what's a Jewish dilemma? I think there's a lot of that going on up there.
Yeah.
Look, here's what I'll say about Bigfoot.
If you're Jewish and looking for Bigfoot, that's a pretty big dilemma. You got yourself in a situation.
I think, honestly, I like the idea of believing in it for sure.
Yeah.
Do I think Harry and the Hendersons was based on a true story?
Yeah.
No. Do I want to? Yeah. Do I want to think that somewhere there's John Lithgow met the real guy that was like, I had to tell him to go home.
Yeah.
And he's like, it's crazy. You sound like
is it? But there's a difference between believing in Bigfoot and thinking Harry and Henderson is a documentary.
Have you ever met anyone who said they spotted Bigfoot?
No, but I've seen Finding Bigfoot.
Yeah.
In which they
don't.
You
know who knows? Which we will do.
They're always like, hey, there's a footprint, and then
we're going to do another Bigfoot episode.
I'd love to be there for it.
Huh? Well, you're not now with that attitude. But another fellow Washington, Jeff Dye.
Oh, I know.
Knows it. He knows everything about him, and he goes to the Bigfoot, all the.
But is Jeff going to be our barometer for?
He's opened enough to. I mean, dude, he's going to these conventions. Like
I know.
He's into it.
Jeff is a great dude, great comic, and a smooth talker, good looking dude. I don't know if everything's clicking up there.
Oh, I totally agree.
Yeah, but that's why I love him.
Jeff.
But that's why I love him. And he's more street smart than book smart. But he even announces that, which is why I love him.
Yeah.
That being said, I think I need to be like, that's why being here for that next podcast you guys do and getting some more firsthand accounts, meeting somebody, if I could see it in their eyes and not have to, also these aren't the guys I'm accustomed to that say that Bigfoot is out there. Again, the guys on the show usually look like they themselves,
they saw themselves in a mirror.
Yeah.
And they're like, there it is.
Yeah. Yeah. Or I don't know. I guess I just.
For the record, one of us is more of an enthusiast than the other two.
For sure.
I'm way on board.
What would you do if you saw him? You ever think about that?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, you would just
that's
be
the
in
moment
disbelief.
because then you want to go back with
that's
the story.
The thing that's hard is those. Look at these 676 sightings, and that's just there. That's the most. 445 is in California. But I mean, you add that's thousands of people saying they saw Bigfoot, and so
why don't we hear about this more? How come there isn't I feel like that's a very.
Because the government doesn't want us to. No,
okay.
No, it's because if you think it's crazy, it's it's like I don't know. There's no real proof besides these sightings.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing concrete that you can go. It's 100% this. You're always anytime you see a picture, it's like I don't know. But all these people see this stuff. I mean, dude, there's aliens. We all kind of believe in aliens now, right?
1,000%.
Why can't there be Bigfoot? I mean, aliens opens the door to everything.
Yes.
And so you're like, maybe there is. And what the idea of it is like, the more logical thinking, I think, is that it's, it's kind of like an ape. It's like something but can stay well hidden.
Yeah.
There's animals that we don't know, we never see. Jaguars. I think jaguars or black panthers, you don't see them in the wild. They're very good, and there's not that many pictures of them because they just don't get seen.
I know. I think because we have so much access and there's so many nature or Discovery Channel
but no one
docs.
goes after. No one really goes and tries.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I think we cast the wrong guys to try to find them.
Yeah.
And the show Finding Bigfoot, I think those guys are more of like when they were making the show, like these are the guys that would be fun that you would think would go, but it's like I don't think they're. Literally, I saw one episode. I think it was like season finale. Yeah. The end of the series or season, and spoiler alert, they didn't find him. And the guy went to the edge of the cliff and just went like, oh!
Yeah.
which was like the Bigfoot call. And then he's like, whoa, which I was like, what were you? Somebody told him as a joke, like, here's how you find them.
Yeah.
You just do like a bird, like a bird choking on some mac and cheese.
Yeah.
And he does that. And I was like, what was he hoping that Bigfoot would just be like, hello?
Yeah.
From down below. So then he does that, and then steps back and then just looks at his buddies and goes, he ain't here. And I was like, that's the attempt.
Yeah.
It's finding Bigfoot.
Yeah.
Not let's take a stab and bird call into a crevice.
Yeah.
So that just kind of took me out of it as far as like, you guys don't even want this.
You don't even want to find it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But also I think, to your point, and again, I believe in I want to believe it.
Yeah.
So I, again, because I think there is something to be said, to piggyback on what you said about that, just because I think he doesn't want to be, or she doesn't want to be found, right? In fact, and just because we haven't seen footage, maybe there are creatures that are better at eluding the public.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
I mean, when's the last time you saw Ving Rhames?
Yeah.
You know?
The Bigfoot
Kind of
expert,
stays out of the public eye.
the guy we had on the podcast said he doesn't want to see him.
Yeah.
Just out of respect for him. He goes, I want to.
Well, that's lazy.
Yeah.
That's okay. Who said that?
Am I remembering that wrong? He
No,
said,
you're right.
He said, I don't want to see
I
him.
don't wanna- it's
I
not
want to
like
go.
He'll
He
be-
wants to go and be around him. He wants to hear him, but he.
So that's like I don't want to meet my hero type thing?
Yeah.
I think so.
Which that kid said the same thing after meeting you as Wolverine.
Yeah.
Before you ran over him.
Before you ran over. Yeah.
By the way, I just remember this thing too about one night I was doing an open mic at the Comedy Store after a shift as Wolverine, and there was a family there just at the potluck show,
Yeah.
like who came early and was staying for like the regular show after, and recognized me. And the guy came up to me and was like, "Hey, you were in our family photo today," and showed me. And I was like, "Dude, you got to let me have this, please."
You go,
Can you separate?
I'm at the movies with my nephew. You just use the same. You should start using those lines that
I
all
know.
the stuff you've been told.
I know.
Get away from the car. Back away. From
Triggering, man. Yeah.
Yeah.
I bet Randy Johnson knows where Bigfoot is.
Oh yeah, dude.
When you're that big, you got
guess what?
access.
He talked to me about him, unlike you. Randy Johnson ain't gonna cut me off. That's why we're having Randy Johnson on the next.
If you can
is
find
that
him.
it? That's it. I mean, we gotta.
Yeah, we're aware. Starbucks, Microsoft, Amazon. That's it.
Those are all your sponsors?
Yeah. We get paid $2,000 million a day.
Oh wow!
for
Look
this
at me.
podcast.
Are my parents back together?
Yeah.
Jeez, I'm just so gullible. Oh, those were
Yeah.
things up Seattle related.
Those are things we didn't get to.
I literally was like,
gotta
you
talk
guys
about
are
Bigfoot.
crushing it, man.
Yeah, our sponsors are Amazon, Microsoft, and Starbucks. Hey, everybody, go to Starbucks today. I mean, what?
That
we
was
would
our
be
ad read at the end.
crushing it, dude.
You still are.
Yeah.
This is I've watched a lot of these, and I was very pumped to be here. No joke.
Yeah. No,
And it's
I
great.
was
Like
glad
you
were
guys have a
coming
great
anytime.
crew. I'm a big fan of the crew like this. It's
Yeah.
a good size. You guys are all the flow's good. This area is incredible.
Yeah, it's a fun. Yeah,
You got a big backyard, which is just seems like a lot of fun. The
A lot of fun.
cul-de-sac's cool.
Mhm.
You get to
All
say
right,
cul-de-sac.
You just
You got an extra room I think I can stay in.
You could stay in here. We have
got
a
a
Helix,
Helix
we got a Helix
mattress.
mattress you can sleep on. You can stay if you ever come here and you need to crash.
I'm
You can
about
always
to
crash
get
here.
a Helix mattress for
Yeah,
nice.
the About Last Night podcast.
Yeah.
Is it great?
It's great.
They're going to
Great.
send.
Yeah.
By the way,
Unwrapping
me
it
asking
is the funnest.
Yeah.
your sponsor, is it good though?
Yeah. Is
Oh,
it
yeah.
good? I go, I'm like, Adam, hey, between
He's-
us. Yeah. On there.
This has been great. We're
Yeah.
going to now cut most of it out.
No, yeah. No, Helix is, truly is awesome. All the comics stay on it.
And they're
They
going to
come here.
send one,
Yeah.
they said, which I'm very
Unwrapping
nice.
it, we've talked, is awesome.
Yeah.
Be sure you record it, film it.
Yeah.
just like the way people unwrap their creams and their
Yeah, well, it's vacuum sealed,
Yeah,
so it's just. I
compressed
mean, it's
in.
crazy to see the box that it's in, and then becomes a mattress. It's pretty
Yeah.
crazy.
Wait, so it's it's all scrunched together and then just
It's vacuum sealed.
It's like opening
I
a
don't know what that
life
means.
raft.
Huh?
Yeah.
vacuums just
you know how they put the thing in the plastic bag, you use the vacuum, sucks the air out, and it kind of.
okay,
Like
gotcha.
a life raft, like you said. It's
Yeah.
just-
Oh, wow.
I basically I just explained vacuum sealed longer. You're like, I don't know what that is. I go, all right, well, it's a vacuum, and then it's you seal it,
Yeah.
and you're like,
And Seal the singer,
Yeah,
right? Yeah.
yeah.
So they have nothing to do with each other.
Yeah.
But
he invented it. Yeah.
huh?
Yeah, what? Hey, we're here to say your parents are back to you. Yeah.
I'm that gullible, dude.
Awesome. Well, I'm so glad you were here.
Man,
buddy.
this was great.
Yeah.
Thanks for making
And,
time.
yeah.
Yeah.
All
Great
right.
to see you.
See you guys next time.